more than a century ago. That's Easter Sunday on the Upper Muni parking lot. More info at hccmo.com.
I trust Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis to help improve my home when it matters most. It's not just Pella's high-quality windows and doors. It's the local experts who know the St. Louis area so well. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects or 0% no payments, no interest if paid in full within 24 months. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio to learn more. 833-87-PELLA or Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
What have we learned about Heidi?
But cockroaches were the least of her problems. Heidi had to fight for every opportunity.
You know, Heidi is, even though she's very kind of sweet and innocent,
Heidi wanted out of the slum, and her agent wasn't doing enough.
Oh my God, they moved Heidi right next to me now.
Although Heidi seems serene,
she's a bit naughty.
she uses an ancient folk remedy to help calm her down.
Heidi is back.
We made it through another work week. Happy Friday, everybody. Heidi Glaus with Bob Ramsey, Josh Gilbert, and we've got a lot to get to on this beautiful Friday afternoon. First up, we're going to talk to the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra's music director and conductor, Stephane Deneve, and such a great guy, so talented. We'll kind of take a look at the season that is underway, and they just announced the upcoming season. So I can't wait to, see what a couple of highlights have been for him. You know, Eternal, the Tina Turner tribute was just fantastic. I can't imagine there's been something that was even greater than that. But we'll talk to him coming up here in just about 20 minutes. We'll also talk to Rich Frankel, ABC News, former special agent in charge FBI, about the U.S. fighter jet going down and the search for crew members. So we'll get the latest on that story. In the 4 o'clock, Mike Ward will join us, and he's bringing a special guest, a winemaker for Line 39 Wines. So that's going to be fun. And Easter, I think, is always one of Mike's favorite holidays because there's so many different things to pair with wines when you're at the lunch or dinner table on Easter Sunday. So that's coming up. We'll talk to Royal Oaks, ABC News, legal analyst on Pam Bondi being fired and Todd Blanche being, the go-to guy for now. In the 5 o'clock, an interesting story that Josh saw in the New York Times. We're going to talk to the reporter covering it. Plasma centers are opening in middle-class suburbs. I mean, I think for a long time, I just assumed that was poor college kids just trying to get beer money on the weekend and would go and donate plasma. But it's becoming kind of a second gig for a lot of people. You've heard of people picking up maybe Uber or Lyft as a second gig, and now people are donating plasma. So we'll find out about that, and we'll also talk to the host of On Balance with Leland Vittert and News Nation's chief Washington anchor. He is not only an anchor at one of the bigs, but he is a St. Louisan and an author of a new memoir, Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. So that's coming up in the 5 o'clock. We'll have a couple of entertainment stories, and then we'll wrap this show up with some randoms. So a lot going on, and not much else going on for me this afternoon other than a workout and kind of straightening up a few things around the house. Marcia is in her Lyft on the way home. She's been gone all week long, so kind of had to straighten up a few things.
Potato chip bags and candy
being,
bar wrappers.
Being alone for the week.
Empty bottles, empty wine bottles, get them out to the garbage.
That is closer to the truth, yes. So, kind of a slow go this morning, but absolutely beautiful. I'm kind of torn, and I wish you guys would tell me if you have a a way to help on this. I love this weather and I'm sitting outside, but then I am sneezing my head off and my nose is running. Like it's kind of the, you want to be outside, but it's also killing you a little bit. Is everybody struggling with allergies right now?
About the only thing I get is, and I didn't the first 2 times I had to cut the grass already this March. Once the summer comes along, I'll get it's so mild, it's almost not worth reporting, but I'll come in from cutting the grass in the summer and be a little stopped up, sneezing a little bit. So I think I get off pretty darn easy.
I used to never have allergies. As a kid, I was out playing all the time, and I'd like to know if we develop allergies as we get older, or are all of those counts that you see on the news, are those getting worse? Like, which is it?
Well, I'm sorry, Josh, but I never had any sort of allergy situation at all.
Ever.
Then I moved to Louisiana, and in the spring, the pollen is so heavy all the time. And I started getting sinus headaches and that sort of thing. And so it kind of started there when I was around, in my late 20s, 30s. Yeah.
Well, I'm always sick, so I never know if it's allergies or if I just got something from Finn that he brought home from school. But the throat's a little scratchy. The eyes are super. I never had the eye-watering thing. I've had allergies my whole life. I never had the eye-watering thing.
Mine's more of an itchy eye. Like, I will just rub my eyes.
Now you're making my eyes.
Yeah, I've got drops, guys. Boy, look at us.
I know.
Aren't we something?
We are sexy.
But the eye-watering started last fall, and I finally said, this is terrible. And I went to and now I see an allergist.
And does it help? Because you still blow your nose an awful lot.
Well, it's a 3 to 5 year process.
Oh, you mean you won't even feel the relief of it until then?
I mean, I think the first shot they give you is just saline solution, and then the next week it's a little bit more, and the next week it's a little bit more.
But don't we want instant relief from that?
Yeah, but if they shot me full of
if it's
mold spores, I'd break out in hives.
Yeah, it's kind of you're trying to combat an autoimmune situation.
I mean, I went in for a checkup on Wednesday, and she said, this is going to take 3 years before we really get to a good spot.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's why my entire adult life, starting when I was 11, I have started allergy shots and then just got away from it because it just seems like it takes too long or whatever. I'm pretty stable in life right now. I got a fairly decent routine.
I'm
so
glad you feel that way.
I decided to start it again, and I'm going to stick with it.
Good for you.
So 3 years later from now, we'll ask Josh what happened, and hopefully I have a positive answer.
But if you would have stayed with it when you were 11, you
my
wouldn't
gosh.
be dealing with this right now.
I'd be a superhuman right now.
Yeah. Somebody said, Heidi, try
What
Flonase.
allergies, Bob?
And Zyrtec, and that should help with your allergies.
The nose
Heidi, you
spray?
taking anything?
Yeah. I'm not, and I need to.
Yeah.
That needs to be.
Yeah, just try a couple of the over-counter things.
But you guys, I have so many supplements that I'm taking right now. I swear I should take a picture and send it to you of all the. It takes me like 3 different goes because I have like a handful of 3 or 4 that I swallow, and then I take another handful of 3 or 4.
And you can't
then
do it all at once. I'm the same way. Jen and I are the same exact way. And some of it, most of it, you want food on your stomach.
Yeah.
And so, it's swallowing pills all day. Now, most of it's not heavy medicine, but it's supplements.
Yeah.
But it's a lot to do.
It is. Somebody said with Heidi, no allergies growing up. Now it's killing me.
Yeah.
I had to go on steroids and thought it was strep throat, but no, just allergies.
But now you can hit 70 home runs.
Getting allergy shots was the best thing ever. Completely symptom-free now.
Good.
And how long did you have to take them before you felt a difference? Let us know on that text line.
I want to know.
We are in pollen season and plague. Isn't that the truth?
All right, I got a question for you guys, and I know that probably a majority of the listening audience is older, like you guys. This round of pills every morning where you have to take 4, drink a glass of water, and then take 4 more. I don't want to get into your medical histories, but are these one-a-days? Are these supplements? Are these...
Mine are all one-a-days.
These are all kind of vitamins and supplements and and this and that.
Peptides and folic acid and on and on and on.
Magnesium and zinc and
Are you taking these?
Yeah.
Yes,
Gotta have zinc.
Uh-huh.
Are you taking these by choice, or are you taking these by recommendation?
I'm
of a
taking it, and I
doctor?
talked about this the other day. Premier U. I did this entire blood test with Premier U, and I did it when I first started working with them about a year and a half ago. And then just 2-3 weeks ago, I had my blood drawn again, and we ran through, when I say we, Jordan Kimmler, who's been on the show, quite often, and we were going through everything. And yes, your general practitioner will go through and say maybe your cholesterol is high or look at your blood pressure and put you on something. But what Premier U does is kind of look at preventing putting you on some of those other things.
Okay.
So she looked at it, something I never even thought, sodium was low. So now I start my morning with 8 ounces of water with several different turns of Himalayan sea salt.
Yeah, the
And
pink stuff?
The pink stuff, just to
Yeah.
get your body going before you do anything, before you have any coffee, before you do anything else. And that's from Premier U. And then when I looked at it with Jordan, she's like, look, your magnesium, your zinc, I could go through this whole thing. And so a couple of them I purchased through Premier U. A couple of them I got at your typical supplement store. But most of it is supplement, and it's just to make me feel better again, and maybe get your immune system going a little bit better. But these are one of the many things that I love about Premier U. Not only have I lost weight, 17 pounds, by the way. Thank you very much.
Whoa.
Yeah. But it's also just feeling better about all of these things that maybe my body was lacking. We also, before, and I think a lot of doctors will throw you on a thyroid medication, Jordan set me up with a thyroid boost, which is also a supplement because my thyroid was lacking. And instead of just going to a prescribed medication, there's something that you can do to see if that helps first. So that's why I love Premier U, and I think you would as well. And you can
why I go too.
ahead,
Look,
get
this-
on their schedule.
This came up organically, Heidi, but why don't you just give out the phone number and the email
I
address?
always will give out their
While we're
phone number.
In fact, I'm due for picking up 2 of my supplements. I'll probably go Monday and pick them up.
They're closed on Fridays, but you can always call them, leave them a message, schedule an appointment, 618-750-LIFE, or go to premiertheletterumed.com, premierummed.com, and that's where you can see all the other things. You know, during this time of year, too, if you feel like you're constantly getting that cold, you can go get like a immune boost IV, and it's crazy. I've done it a couple of times, and it just kind of makes you have a little bit more energy. You feel better. So Premier U.
I want to get that B12 shot. I ask you that.
Oh, I'm taking B12.
Are you?
And I'm taking a D
something
and a K something.
All right.
That's another one.
We'll have to ask Jordan next time she's in here.
Are you taking B12?
No, I want to. I want to get a shot. I want, boom, hey, that's what everybody says it is.
Great seeing the best football movie ever, North Dallas 40. And one of the football players, I need a B12 shot. And an incident happens, and they get in a fight and everything. They finally clear out the training room, and the trainer looks at the syringe. He goes, too much doggone B12. So be careful.
I've heard
You'll start
nothing.
turning tables over.
Nothing, but I could use a little shot in the arm. I just got on back from vacation with my parents, and looking at their pill box, I said, "Mom, what is this?" And she says, "It's my heart medicine, and it's my arthritis medicine, and it's this and it's that." So when you guys were bringing it up, I didn't know if it was something that you needed or if it was something more preventative, like you said.
I mean, there are a couple of things that I'm taking. I mean, I'm also taking some estrogen, progesterone, because I am at that part of life where your energy is just gone. It's supposed to help with sleep, too. So there's a lot of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody on the text line said the allergy, the person that said that the allergy shots made him symptom-free now. 5 years.
Wow.
Took 5 years.
Okay, but that's if
You
you're
do
not
it.
having them now, you just got to be consistent.
I'm locked in. I'm ready.
Good.
Yeah. Very crazy. So what do you guys got planned this weekend? Lots of basketball for me. Going to do brunch or lunch tomorrow with some friends that I haven't seen in a second. And then probably more basketball.
I remember last weekend I said I was going to paint.
Yes.
Didn't.
You know what? I wasn't going to poke the bear on
You
that
could've-
one.
You could have. So tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow's paint day, and we'll make sure we're done so by 5 so we can watch basketball.
Okay.
Have the Cardinal game on in the background. So, but tomorrow is the day.
It's work day.
Yep.
Okay. Josh, what are you going to be up to?
Tonight we're going to go see the Mario movie with Finn.
Okay.
I am actually just as excited as he is to see this.
Yes.
And then tomorrow we've made it a tradition in our immediate family, my wife and Finn and I, to go to Grant's Farm on Easter weekend, Saturday before Easter.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to rain all day tomorrow.
Not all day?
I've been checking.
I'm checking now.
I was going to say,
check now.
it says noon.
Noon?
Yeah.
Mine says done by 10.
Yeah, 10 a.m. I don't know what
Done by 10 a.m.?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Well, maybe we will go, but my niece just had a birthday, and they're going to Slick City, Slide City, something City. And it's one of these indoor play places, and I think Finn's pretty jazzed to go there as well.
They just built a new...
Out in Fenton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that where you're going?
I don't know.
But it's a different one. And it's literally around the corner from our subdivision. I think one day next week we might just go in there and check it out, see what the deal is.
There's one in Rock Hill called Lava City.
Yeah.
And I swear we went on an overcast, gross Saturday, and every kid in St. Louis was there.
Well, if it's a rainy day,
was wild.
Parents are always looking for those places. That's why there's so many of them.
90 birthday parties going on. It was something.
I bet those places pray for bad weather.
I bet they do too.
Well, I was talking to my wife about it, like, hey, should we buy an empty, warehouse?
Here we go again.
Here we go.
Get
Josh,
a couple of slides.
You know you have to have money to make money.
I know. Well, that's
How are
where
you going to
Darren.
pay for the insurance?
That's where Darren comes
The
in.
insurance is going to be crazy.
I'm the idea guy.
Are you really? I didn't know that. Let me write that down. I was not aware.
Yeah.
So the kids will age out of this, by 10 or 11, I think. Then they get too cool for school for these things. But there's always another round, 5-year-olds that come in right after that. Your clientele never disappears. I guess these days, St. Louis, the metro area, is shrinking. So maybe it's not going to be as busy next week.
Are you having a conversation with yourself right now or with
I'm just
us? Because I am.
It's a great idea. These kids' indoor play places.
Or what about outdoor, like
parks,
baseball fields?
No, what if it rains?
Things like that.
What if
have
it rains?
AstroTurf.
Yeah. And then think of all the sunny days where nobody will be in your business because they're outside playing.
Yeah. Oh, think of all the 100-degree days, though, in St. Louis summers.
I still want to be out. That's what the pool's for, right? Somebody said, I love Grant's Farm. What a great tradition. That's Mike the Painter. I agree.
Yeah,
that's
good.
a fantastic one. Don't forget, Eckert's has the Tulip Trail
for
the next couple of weekends. So that is a must. But yeah, looking at...
Is it 300,000?
Yes.
Some crazy number.
It's crazy. So that'll be fun. Well, you guys know what we have coming up, and hopefully you're going to be a part of it here on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
It's Julie Buck, and it's just a good time to be alive. There's probably an Only facial right around the corner from your house. This is the best thing going. There's no gratuity, it's one price, and you get 12 different steps of a facial, including a cleanse. They even fix your brows for you. They do some dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, a chemical peel, even a little relaxing massage, some extractions, red light therapy. Then they do the microcurrent high frequency to get that collagen going, and a treatment mask. And then they give you a little hydration and SPF to be on your way. You come in as you are at the Only Facial with locations all around town, and you can't beat $125 for all of the things I just mentioned. And you can go to their website and find out about all the locations and see a video of what the experience of the Only Facial is like. I think you'll love it. Give it a try, and don't forget they have a new location in Creve Coeur right at Olive and 270, right behind the new Chick-fil-A. So go see The Only Facial or go online, theonlyfacial.com.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. It's that time of year. We are very busy. That means we're selling vehicles faster than I can acquire them. We are aggressively purchasing unique, interesting, and pristine vehicles. I love to buy Corvettes, Vipers, Porsches, and the like. We buy luxury and performance vehicles daily. Got one to sell? Call us or hop on our site. Owe money on it still? No problem. We'll make the payoff and cut you an equity check. I'll buy classics and motorcycles too. We'll even buy entire car collections. I'll come to you if it's easier. We make it quick and simple. Of course, I've got great ones to sell too. All hand-picked by me, thoroughly vetted and serviced. So if you're buying or selling, give us a call or visit our site today.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars, Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
Can I get serious for a moment? Something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is my front yard and taking care of your front yard. Because when you drive by someone's house and it's full of weeds, you think to yourself, oh man, it's very, very simple. You know how much I love to pretend to be a yard dork. You know what I use? Fertilome. I go to fertilome.com and I type in my zip code, and a whole host of local independent lawn and garden dealers show up. I buy the crabgrass preventer plus lawn food. It's the spring application. I get it down on my yard as soon as possible, and that greens up my yard and keeps the weeds away. So it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. But really, all I'm doing is getting Fertilome and putting it on my front yard. And that will take care of my yard for many, many, many weeks, and it go a long way to having the greenest yard in the block. So this spring, you want to green up your yard and get rid of the weeds? It all starts at Fertilome or fertilome.com.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Meep, meep. It is 3:30. Time to check in with Sobe Bay, who's in the KTRS Traffic Center.
Hey, Heidi. They've cleared the previous accidents, so right now we just have slow traffic in the city of St. Louis, 6440 westbound between Kings Highway and McCausland, and stop and go on 55 south between Gasconada and Virginia. And in North County, heavy on 170 north between Scudder Road and Hanley. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
When you're driving the lane, you've got to stay in control, and the same goes for your car. When the unexpected happens, breakdowns, engine trouble, costly repairs, CarShield has your back so you can keep driving without missing a beat. Don't get benched by expensive car repairs. Join the winning team with America's #1 auto protection company, CarShield. Call 800-861-6176 or visit carshield.com today. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Well, we are so lucky to have one of the best symphony orchestras in the country. We're also really lucky to have a fabulous music director in Stephane Deneve. And we're so happy to have him joining us to talk about the orchestra's 147th season. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. And I need to correct you right away.
What did I
have
say?
one of the best symphony in the
world. Yes, you're right. You're right. And you know what? I almost said it. And you're right. We do. And we're Grammy Award winning. I mean, it's just such a fantastic group of people.
And it sounds better than ever thanks to our amazingly well-renovated Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center.
Talk about those differences. Stuff that, I mean, we may hear it in the audience, but you really hear it.
It's a dream come true. You know, when we started the renovation, I was so nervous because the acoustic was exceptional already.
Mm-hmm.
And so my big fear was that we would alter it negatively. And I can definitely say that's the opposite, big time. And many people, the orchestra, I mean, we all are amazed by the sound quality. It is a little bit brighter, even more powerful. And it has something like always more welcoming. Like when you are, by the way, I recommend if you go to the very last row of the balcony, really try it once in your life. It's amazing. You feel you are inside of the orchestra. You are 170 feet away, and it's an incredible effect. This acoustic is a dream.
I mean, it's absolutely stunning to look at, the entire thing. I mean, the renovation is just, I don't know how they could have done anything better.
No, it exceeds any expectations. And I have to say, what is great is that now we welcome people in a much better way. The experience is so much more pleasant because we have this big new lobby with our iconic spiral stairs and a lot more place to buy something to drink, a lot more place to actually exit those drinks in the restrooms, and we still have what we love from before, like the grand foyer is still there. We didn't destroy it. We just added a lobby. We have an ELC, which is the Education Learning Center, which is actually a new hall where we can accommodate rehearsals and chamber music concerts, etc. It's just incredible.
And you mentioned it though that a lot of this stuff that you just mentioned was outside of the room itself.
Yeah.
But how much of the room itself was really updated? Are the seats the same?
No.
Was it stuff that we could even see?
Oh, yeah, it's
the
gorgeous.
seats are much better because they are larger. We reduced a little bit. We had 2,700 almost seats, and now we are 2,150, which means that from the same space. So you can have drinks, by the way, on your seat. They are in beautiful red velvet, but more spacious. And we changed many things. The lighting is different. The whole floor for the orchestra has been redone, and that also helps the acoustic. We did some reflectors on the side that all the seats that are under the balcony now receive a natural amplification. Nothing. It's all acoustic, by the way. But what I mean is there is reflectors that direct the sound a bit better under the balcony, and we moved one wall a little bit by little. So all that was very carefully done to not alter but improve.
And do they consult the music director? Do they consult the conductors?
Of course.
And say, what can we do to make this better?
Oh,
and are you architecturally trained in some of these things yourself?
Actually, I'm passionate about it for sure. But yes, it was all a collaboration with the acousticians. There is some firms, in this case Kierkegaard, that worked with a fabulous firm, BSI, to just really do some tests. And we had, by the way, before we closed for renovation Powell Hall, we did some rehearsal where we did some mock-up, to try to see how it sounds and if it makes an effect. And we tried things that we didn't do because it was not improving. So yes, it was all a consultation, all in collaboration, and at the end, it's a success.
Yeah, it is. I mean, fantastic. We're going to talk about the 147th season, but how about this current season?
Yes.
I mean, it's gone fantastic, hasn't it?
Oh my God, we have sold out house and a lot of audience really enjoyed to be back in this treasure. And I have so many highlights this season. I mean, when we opened, we had a world premiere by really one of the best composers alive today, Kevin Putz, and we had a piece that he composed for us called House of Tomorrow. How beautiful and symbolic. And we had many great concerts. It's hard for me to choose between them. I love the New Year's Eve concert. That was so much fun. And even recently, by the way, we had quite an interesting celebration for the new jersey of the St. Louis City, soccer.
Yes.
And I was there. It was about Tina Turner, of course.
Eternal.
They have a beautiful new jersey. I love it. I have it actually with my name on it. And and I was so happy to conduct indeed some Tina Turner music myself there.
It was so fantastic. And you had, you told the story of Tina Turner, and then you had Brittany Howard come out from Alabama Shakes, which was fantastic, which made me wonder, is there a singer that you would love to work with that you haven't?
Yes, Björk. I love the Icelandic singer Björk. There's another one as well, English singer called Jacob Collier, who I really love. And I have to admit, I would love to do something with Bruno Mars.
Oh yeah, that
I'm
would
a
be
big
fun.
fan. Yes, and and Pac Anderson, this Silk Sonic group.
Yeah. Oh, he likes horns, so you might have an in there.
Yeah.
Let's hope. But Brittany Howard was a lot of fun to work with, I must say. She was
Really?
she was so funny backstage and so so wonderful. So a lot of things happen. We have also a lot of movies.
Yes.
Like 7 next year and Harry Potter and there is nothing better than actually being in Power Hall and enjoy a movie live played by your symphony.
Oh, so fantastic. I always wonder, the music is just amazing. But what is it like when you walk out of that stage door to the audience cheering for you?
It's a drug. No, look, I never even put a cigarette between my lips all my life, and I don't do drugs at all, and please never do that. But I don't do that for at least one very good reason, because I have music. Yeah. Music is such a trip. I love it. And I have to admit, yes, the audience is very warm here in St. Louis. By the way, we have a funny little trick. When I arrive, I always say good evening, and people answer me, say bonsoir in French. So, and if it's the afternoon, we say good afternoon, and they answer bonjour. And that is very touching, because there is a rapport, there is something very warm. And I love that this hall gives that too. People, of course, feel very close to us. So the way the hall is done, with the balcony and the angle, you really feel you're plunging to the stage. So that's a very, very warm feeling there.
What is the practice schedule like? I know we're dealing with professionals and the best of the best. So do they go home and they practice their music, and then do you guys get together a couple times?
Okay, I tell you exactly. For instance, next week we are doing the incredible symphony, the Fifth of Mahler. Maybe you know that because in the movie of Visconti, Death in Venice, it's played the adagietto, the slow movement, the most beautiful romantic music, really so lush. And here is how it goes. So the musicians, they take their score a few weeks in advance and they practice on their own with the score, preparing it very professionally because they're so talented and so serious. Then, so next week, we will meet actually on Wednesday and Thursday to have 4 rehearsals. And it seems not a lot, but they come so prepared. So, you can right away go deep into the music. And we have a dress rehearsal, and then that's it. We have 3 concerts, and it is quite incredible because it's a huge symphony, which is about an hour 5 or something. And also we have a wonderful double concerto next week with 2 stars. I'm sure people will recognize the name of Hilary Hahn, one of the most famous American violinists, and Seth Parker Woods as well, very famous cellist. And they play a new piece by Carlos Simon, a great living composer who will be there, by the way, Carlos Simon. So yeah, this is really exciting. But these big 3 concerts are prepared only in 4 rehearsals, which is amazing. But that's how it is. It's a standard in the industry.
You seem so fun. Do you have that tough side? Like if somebody is off or you notice that, what is the angry Stephane like?
No, there's no angry Stephane because everything is very collaborative. We try to inspire each other. And I know there is this idea sometimes a conductor is there to... I'm not a teacher. I'm a collaborator. And actually, you would be so surprised. Mistakes never happen, really, at this level. The level is so high. So it's not about that. Imagine if you're a stage director and you have the best actors in front of you. You don't think they will just make a mistake reading the text, right? They prepare, they know, and they say to be or not to be. They won't slip a word or whatever. But you can say to be or not to be. Okay, to be or not to be. And you just inspire them and they inspire you. And it's just a collegial work together. And at the end, it creates art.
Yes.
I have to tell you a story. I was working in college at the NPR station in Columbia, Missouri, and we did a lot of classical music. I would have to cut in and read a line and tell the time. And I jumped in and I said, you're listening to, I didn't read it ahead of time. You're listening to the Royal Concert Jibo? Somebody called in later and said, Josh, I know that you're a student. You do a great job, but it's pronounced Concertgebouw. Concertgebouw.
Actually, not even. Sorry. I know because I conduct there all the time, by the way. I will be at the Royal Concertgebouw next season for 7 weeks even.
Wow.
I'm conducting the National Farce of Berlioz there. This is one of the greatest orchestra in the world. as well from Europe in Amsterdam. And you are very excused because nobody can really pronounce well if you don't Dutch. You know, some people say it's not a language, it's a throat ache. And I hope they will forgive me for what I just said because I love there. I'm 3 weeks every season in the Concertgebouw actually every year, and it's royal. So Concertgebouw is like how you would say it commonly in America, but I promise you over there it's something like. Concertgebouw.
Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't even attempt that. But now that we have the renovated Powell Symphony Hall, we have one of the best symphonies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
How do our facilities stack up against things in Paris and Amsterdam and Vienna?
No, it's a good question. I mean, I would like to be very honest. You know, there is a tendency in this country sometimes, of course, to say we are the greatest of the greatest, and the greatest of the... And... in this case, it's true. What can I say?
Whoa.
So, no, but what I mean really with all my heart is that this now hall becomes a real destination because it's very famous. I'm really not exaggerating. In our field, people really speak about this hall being one of the best acoustics really that you have. But now, with how it has been renovated and the beauty of it and the facilities backstage, you know, the musicians really have a much better life than before. They have place to meet, they have place to rehearse, they have studios, great dressing rooms now, you know, it looks good. So it's very attractive, by the way. I think the orchestra can only benefit on the long term because a lot of young musicians want to join the orchestra because they know now that they have not only a fabulous hall, but also great facilities backstage and indeed a very warm audience.
So this one gets into the weeds a little bit too, Maestro. When you talk about at the highest level, we're talking about international.
Yeah.
How international is your orchestra? Is it 50% from all over the world? 20%? Is it all?
Oh,
personnel.
Yeah, the exact numbers about the we have a lot of nationalities indeed in the orchestra. I need to come back to you to give you exactly the numbers, but music is really uniting people because it's a universal language, and so it's fascinating that you have indeed European musicians in the orchestra, South American, a lot of Asian people or Asian American.
To the point, it doesn't even matter where they're from. Can they play?
No,
right?
Definitely not. I mean, to the point, by the way, that we do our auditions behind a curtain.
Uh-huh.
So we really judge people always behind a curtain. We judge them without any prejudice about who they are, their age. Their of course origin. It's about music because it's, you know, we have hundreds of people applying for a position. It's a crazy thing, you know. When you win a position there, it's very coveted, and what I love that an orchestra is a kind of model of society because it's people from different origins, different background, different color, different religion, whatever, and actually at the end they learn to listen to each other, to tune to each other, create beauty together, and deliver a message of peace, I believe.
That's tremendous.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming season, in the 147th season?
Oh my God, you know, so many children to choose from. It's difficult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just now, by the way, after this Mahler 5, we end our season with an amazing reunion family because we will have both in unison chorus, which is a wonderful chorus part of our organization, and the St. Louis Symphony Chorus on stage to make a world premiere of Nathalie Joachim called Family, a piece called Family. And then we will perform Daphnis et Chloé, which is an amazing piece by Maurice Ravel. Actually, the favorite piece of Frank Sinatra. He said in an interview, I saw an interview of Sinatra say, "Oh, I love to listen at home, Daphnis et Chloé by Maurice Ravel." Really. I for everybody, put on Spotify or Deezer, whatever, put on your YouTube, Sunrise, Daphnis, Daphnis, and I promise you will be amazed by the enchanting music you will listen to if you don't know it yet. And next season, we have a very, very strong season with a lot of great world-class artists because this is what I said, it's a hub now, it's a big hub for music. So we have people like Daniel Trifonov, amazing pianist, or Yefim Bronfman, another, Nikolai Shep-Snyder, one of the best violinists in the world, and many others. And I'm very much looking forward to do a lot of things with the chorus, with celebrating his 50th anniversary, birthday anniversary, a lot of big choral work, and we'll end the season with the Mahler's Third Symphony, which is a big monument. It's like, for a conductor, it's like climbing the Mount Everest. Huge one.
Well, we always love having you in studio. You're so much fun. Subscriptions are on sale now. Single tickets will go on sale in the summer, and you can see the entire list on the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra website, slso.org. Stephane, thank you so much for including us in your day.
Oh, please, thank you for having me. And look, I love music. And yes, we have really a great symphony here, like the best in the universe. And
I love it.
And I just encourage you to go to slso.org. And I just want to share the good news. There is really music to be moved by, and it's here at Power Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. So please come.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang with Carter Pet Hospital, inviting you to join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. with the Animal Advice Show. We'll talk about everything regarding dogs, cats, and other domestic animals. We'll discuss nutrition, training, regular checkups, invite special guests, and of course, answer your questions. Join us every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for the Animal Advice Show on the Big 550 KTRS, the Animal Talk of St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I want your fixer-upper home. It's crazy to spend a ton of money fixing it up when I will pay you top dollar right now. I don't even care what condition it's in. Your trash is my treasure. No inspections, no contingencies, just cold, hard cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867. That's Mike Robinson, 314-283-0867, or at robangproperties.com.
We hear so much about quality time, but it's the quantity of time that we want. Every member of the family gets enlisted in so many activities. As quality time usurps quantity, there is so little time to enjoy the freedoms that make America the envy of the world. If we could only unplug, disengage, and spend quality time together, well, we can, in an RV. Escape into a whole new world in a Byerly RV. Byerly RV. Wherever you go, you're always at home in a Byerly RV.
You're listening to The Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
It's about 8 minutes before 4 o'clock on this Friday. Selby, how's traffic?
Hey, Heidi. Traffic has a few trouble spots. Slow traffic in St. Louis City, 64 west from Kings Highway out to Bellevue, and stop and go 55 south, Gasconade to Virginia. In North County, heavy on 170 north between Scudder Road out to past Hanley. Heavy traffic in Lake St. Louis, 70 west, Route A out to the 6470 merger, and 64 west from 364 out to 70. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, U.S. fighter jet went down in Iran. One crew member was rescued. The search continues for the second. Rich Frankel, former special agent in charge, FBI, joins us with the latest. How do you even begin a search like this?
You just go where the plane last gave out, basically what would be the equivalent of an SOS, indicated that, that it was going down, and that the pilots had bailed out, and then you just go from there with drone traffic. I believe that there's a QRF, a quick reaction force of helicopters and soldiers, Air Force men, who will immediately respond to that location and start searching for both pilots when the plane went down. It appears that they were able to find one of the pilots very quickly. Found them basically last night, but they are still searching for the second pilot. And it now appears that it might be in a bit of a mountainous region in South. I think it's like southwestern Iran, not that far from the Iraq border. And so, yeah, it's very hard to do a search in that area, but this is something that the military has trained for, continues to train for, and it appears, again, that they were able to find that one pilot so far.
And do we have a feel, Rich, whether it's remote areas or would we call it hostile territory? I guess that's obvious. And so does that add to the danger level?
Yeah, so it appears to be actually a fairly remote area from what I've looked online and just tried to find out some information on my own about. And then as far as being hostile, I think you're in you're in conflict, you're in a state of conflict, so of course you're going to find hostile forces there. But I also understand that one of the local governors put out basically a bounty on this pilot, on the other crewmen, and so therefore. People are going to be searching for that pilot and hope to get a reward. Now, our people are also trained in how to deal with that. When they go for their training, their SEER training, which is their evasion and resistance training. They learn how to deal with the locals and possibly how to overcome some of those obstacles.
But the bounty in Iran was, I heard on ABC, for alive, to find this crew member alive and bring them in alive. That's correct, right?
That's what I've heard. But again, I didn't hear the actual posting by the governor himself. But that is kind of understandable because they're going to want to show that pilot off. They're going to try to use that pilot as a type of ransom and use it for making demands. So I would expect that they would want the pilot to be alive when they do locate him.
Rich, I assume when you have two pilots and they eject at the same time, I would assume they're at the same time at least. How do you know if they're close to each other or not? I mean, it's just up to them and their parachute as to where they land. Is there any chance that they were in the similar area?
Yeah, they could have been in, a fairly similar area, but when you're talking about now a mountainous and remote area, one could have ended up on one side of the hill, one on the other side of the hill, and even though they're only a mile apart, they have no way to communicate between themselves if they don't have, radios or other transmitting devices. And so, again, they could be very close, and our troops could have been very close, but just not close enough for them to go in and get both pilots at the same time.
And the crew member that has been rescued, do we know that he is okay, or did he have any injuries?
That I have not heard yet. I'm still waiting to get that intel myself.
And then that crew member, were they found in Iran and extracted? I would imagine trying to extract someone from inside the hostile country makes it even harder.
Correct. Yeah, you're going to have you have to have possibly drones and other aircraft up, trying to identify and locate the pilots. But then you have to have other aircraft and other personnel there to protect those who are actually going in to rescue those pilots. So it's not just sending in one team to go out and get these guys. It's basically an entire, and they call it a quick reaction force. Basically it's a team that goes in there on the ground to get the pilot out. But then you have the Overwatch who are protecting those people, those soldiers who are going in to make that rescue.
And the quick reaction force, is that what they solely train for?
No, a lot of the time they'll be doing other duties, but this is their primary mission. In other words, they will be stationed at whether it's on an aircraft carrier, on another vessel, or on a base or a forward operating position, and they'll be there specifically ready to go in case there is any type of incident like this or any other incident where we have troops in harm's way and they need a team basically to go in and bring them out safely.
Yeah. Rich Frankel, former special agent in charge, FBI, thank you so much for joining us and kind of giving us a picture of what these guys are going through.
Thank you.
Somebody on the text line says something a lot of us don't realize because of the movies is a lot of these guys are hurt just when they eject because it's such a forceful, violent thing. And the plane going hundreds of miles an hour, going to drop the two guys off, could be so far apart. It's just we hope that they can find the other crew member soon. Mike Ward is going to join us after a short break, and we're going to talk about a new wine that I don't know much about, Line 39 Wines. He's also got the winemaker for Line 39 joining us. So that's all coming up here in a couple minutes on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Staples presents That Was Easy. So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures. Everything and then some. I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus. One money pit with a side of fries. But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders. $125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples. That was easy. Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Wildwood, De Pere, Columbia, and the world. Streaming live at KTRS.com.
I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. One U.S. service member has been rescued after their fighter jet was shot down by Iranian forces as the U.S. now launches a search and rescue mission for the other person aboard that plane. ABC News Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz has the latest.
We know that it was a two-seater jet, an F-15E Strike Eagle. So there is the one crew member they have found and one crew member remains missing. Normally in this aircraft, there is a pilot in the front seat and a weapons systems officer in the back seat.
Both of them appear to have ejected from the F-15 that crashed. Former State Department official and ABC News contributor Colonel Steve Ganyard says the longer the search goes on, the greater the risk for that missing service member.
The weapons systems officer in the back seat goes out first, and then the pilot for deconfliction so they don't hit each other as they eject. So in this case, they shouldn't have been very far away. So that's what's concerning, is that they were able to pick up one, but either couldn't find or get to the other pilot.
We're also learning about another aircraft crash in the region, this time an A-10 Warthog shot down by Iranian fire in the Persian Gulf region, crashing in a neighboring allied country. According to the U.S. official, the pilot aboard that plane has been rescued safely. With questions mounting about the length and cost of the war, the White House now says it will ask Congress to approve roughly $1.5 trillion for national defense next fiscal year. That marks a 42% increase from the previous budget. The crew of the Artemis II is now well on its way to the moon. Former NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore says the astronauts today sent back new pictures of Earth.
They're getting a special perspective that no human has seen in 54 years. To see the whole entire planet in one view out the window, it's got to be just thrilling for each one of them.
On Monday, the mission is expected to begin its journey around the dark side of the moon before beginning their return journey. Artemis II is the first moon mission in more than 50 years. You're listening to ABC News.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
83 degrees at 4:02 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. Over the objections of their governor, lawmakers are set to enact a new law in Kentucky that could protect global agrochemical manufacturer Bayer from state lawsuits, alleging it failed to warn customers that a commonly used weed killer could cause cancer. Meanwhile, the company is asking a Missouri court to approve an over $7 billion settlement that could resolve tens of thousands of claims, and the Supreme Court is to hear arguments on April 27th on a Missouri case in which a jury awarded more than $1 million to a man who developed cancer after spraying Roundup on a community garden in St. Louis. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer is pushing for a more coordinated approach when adding traffic calming measures downtown. This comes after the city removed 6 curb bump outs intended to slow traffic. Spencer says the bump outs have caused a lot of traffic delays during major events, but some have been critical of that move.
And we will continue to work with our downtown partners to make sure, and our community partners when we're making those major investments, that they make sense.
Spencer says it took some drivers over 3 hours to get out of downtown during a recent busy night. A town hall focusing on violence prevention will be held in North County on Saturday in response to the shooting earlier this week at McClure South Berkeley High School that claimed the life of a 13-year-old boy and critically injured a 15-year-old. The town hall begins Saturday at 11 a.m. at Calvary Bible Church in Florissant. Unemployment is reportedly up on both sides of the river.
Missouri is seeing more initial unemployment claims. The Missouri Department of Labor reports there were nearly 3,000 claims filed during the week ending on March 28th. That marks an increase of nearly 200 claims from the previous week. Meanwhile, Illinois' unemployment rate is up slightly. The State Department of Employment Security reports the state's jobless rate was 4.9%, up 2 percentage points. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
We have a follow-up on our story earlier this week about possible human remains found in a backyard in Berkeley. The medical examiner has determined that the remains found in a backyard along Jefferson Avenue were animal bones. And 1 week from today, the popular Grafton Ferry on the Mississippi River is having a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate its expanded hours and now year-round service between Grafton and St. Charles County. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The Wildey Theater in Edwardsville is preparing to celebrate the 15th anniversary of its restoration and reopening with events beginning next Tuesday. Theater opened in 1909 as an opera house and was renovated 15 years ago. The markets are closed today in observance of Good Friday, so let's go now to Sobe for KTRS Sports and Traffic.
Hey, Steve, the Cardinals managed only 5 hits and a 4-0 loss in Detroit in their home opener today. Starter Michael McGreevy gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, pitching 4 2/3 inning, and he took the loss. And back in the lineup 2 days after being involved in a single-car accident on I-64 near Busch Stadium. Shortstop Mason Wynn was removed from the top of the 7th inning due to hip tightness. I'm Sobe Bay from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. Now on to traffic. A mess in Northwest County. There is debris on the roadway. 270 south past Page. The center lane is closed there. Slow traffic in St. Louis City, 64 west between Kings Highway out to Bellevue. Heavy traffic Lake St. Louis, 70 west Route A out to 6470 Merge, and 64 west from 364 out to 70. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
Watch for showers and thunderstorms tonight, an overnight low in the mid-50s, a chance of some rain tomorrow morning with temperatures holding through the day tomorrow in the mid-50s. At 4:06, cloudy skies, 83 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
Mrs. Weiland, why don't you go ahead and read the top line for me?
I should.
Next line.
Get my retirement. What's that?
Checked, Mrs. Weiland. Get your retirement checked.
Planning retirement on your own doesn't pass the eye test. Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost at Ricken Financial can help bring your retirement into focus. Call 314-207-6211. Ricken Financial, making sure your retirement vision is 2020.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Friday afternoon, April 3rd, St. Louis Zoo's Wildcare Park welcomes first Bactrian camel. According to the zoo, Ruby was born February 27th at Wildcare Park, making the first birth of the animal at the location in North St. Louis County. Ruby weighed around 90 pounds when she was born, according to a zoo statement. Ruby is already stepping out to explore after a cozy start in the barn. Bactrian camels are notably distinguished with 2 humps on their backs,
2 humps, okay.
which are used to store fat that converts to energy when needed. While rubies are still soft and floppy, they will grow to be more defined over time. Wildcare Park, located in Spanish Lake, is expected to open next year, and guests will be able to experience woodland and savanna safaris, walking safaris, an observation tower, public giraffe feeding, and more across the 425 acres of land. I'm so excited about it.
Me too.
The animal population at the new park has been growing over the past 2 years, most recently with the southern white rhinos, giraffes, and a baby bintang. The St. Louis Zoo says there have been more than 20 endangered and critically endangered animals born at Wildcare Park since 2024. So this
Good
camel...
news.
It looks super cute.
I've got a bittersweet headline today. Sugar, the surfing dog, the first canine inducted into the Surfers Hall of Fame, has passed away.
Aww.
Sugar was 16 years old, the first canine inducted into the Surfers Hall of Fame, spent her days outside the water comforting veterans as a therapy dog, and then herself was a rescue dog, and started getting involved, hanging out with people in Huntington Beach, and put a smile on everybody's face. She was found as a stray, as I said. Over the years, her love of the waves and natural talent took her to new heights. Dressed in a life jacket, spectators would watch the canine in amazement as she balanced on her surfboard, riding wave after wave, sometimes with an owner and sometimes just on her own, by herself surfing. In 2024, paw prints joined the hand and footprints of other renowned surfers immortalized in concrete in Huntington Beach at the Hall of Fame, where she was inducted. So sad, and an era has gone by. Sugar, the surfing dog.
Wow.
I always wonder how they get up there like that and have the balance. And you seen the bulldog that does it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about the skiing squirrel? I did a story on the skiing squirrel years
Did you
ago.
really?
Yeah. I mean, they train them. It's crazy.
Heidi, it's just so funny because in Anchorman, they make fun of
Yes.
that.
That everybody has to do that
You
story.
have to do the story. Everybody loves it.
And what do they call that at the end of the newscast?
The kicker.
The kicker. They leave you with the skiing squirrel.
Yes.
Look at them go. And you did that story.
Absolutely.
My life is complete. My life is complete. All right, my story is about a turtle, a tortoise, actually.
It's Animal Day.
It
at the
is
ballpark.
Animal
It is Animal
Day.
Day.
Camels, dogs, and turtles.
How
Oh,
about
my.
Really old. Mine's older than yours, guys. Jonathan the tortoise, 193 years old. We've talked about him on this show.
Yes, we have.
A number of times because he is so old. He's literally the world's oldest living land animal. Again, 193 years old. He's in the news, though, because on April Fool's Day, someone purporting to be his veterinarian
Rude.
on the island of St. Helena, which is between Africa and Brazil, someone on Twitter announced that he had passed.
This is not a good April Fool's
It's not
joke.
funny.
No.
There's no humor to it.
Got another Abe. Did you see the April Fool's gag that they did with the Washington Wizards?
Yes. I think they're going to end up having to pay that guy.
They blindfolded this guy, and he did the half-court shot, and I guess they told the crowd ahead of time to cheer. I mean, this ball went sailing well over the basket.
But he thought he had made it.
Because they were all cheering.
All the mascots ran up. They gave him the big fake check for $10,000. And then, boom, 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 boom. They go, hey, watch the shot. And he watched it, and they go, boom, 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 boom.
Rude.
And they took the check away. I think they ended up giving him signed jerseys and courtside seats, but I don't know if they're going to have to give him more.
Again, not funny.
So anyway, I'm with Bob. These April Fool's Days hoax are, especially when you talk about someone's money, they get real excited. $10,000. But Jonathan the Tortoise is still alive at
Thankfully.
193. And it is believed that when he was gifted, he's a Seychelles tortoise, when he was gifted to the island of St. Helena in 1882, Bob, he was already 50 years old. I mean, you can go talk to Jonathan and say, hey, what do you think about Abraham Lincoln? And he could probably tell you, oh, well, back then we thought he was pretty great. So he is still alive and kicking. The St. Helena government
Always one step too far.
sent a photo of Jonathan roaming the grounds. He is still alive and well. And notably, the island of St. Helena, which is in the South Atlantic, like I said, between Africa and Brazil, is where Napoleon was sent after Waterloo on his second exile. And that's where he
way
died.
out there.
That's where they, it's
I
like...
always assumed it was in the Mediterranean, but no.
Right. It wasn't far enough last time, Bob.
Wow.
They exiled him all the way down. And Jonathan, he wasn't there yet.
Yeah, Jonathan is pretty big. Like, Jonathan's bigger than Georgie. I wonder what, like, Jonathan eats and what, excites...
carrots.
I was going to say carrots. We don't.
Jonathan.
You and I have no idea, but we just carrots.
Guess.
Look, this is a photo of him, Bob. I mean, he looks old, even for a turtle.
Well, turtles all kind of look a little old.
Yeah, have you ever seen a turtle that looks?
I mean, unless it's that little
12
baby, that you can hold in your hand. But Georgie, I will tell you this: she gets excited when we start to put all of our stuff in the front of the house because she knows we're going to load up the RV. I mean, it's so cute to see. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, if we're going somewhere else, if we're going to fly out and we have the suitcases by the door, that's not it. She knows, like, our RV bag. She knows the other kind of bags that we put together when we're RVing. And you guys, right now is a fantastic time to get out in your RV. I mean, there's so many places here close to home. You've got Defiance. You've got Lake 360 out at St. Charles, St. Peter's. I mean, but then you can go and see the country when you have an RV. And I think that's what Byerly RV knows that they're offering people. It's this, tiny home on wheels that you can take anywhere. If you buy a lake house, you're going to that same spot each and every time. If you have an RV, you can go to a lake one weekend, you can go to an ocean, another you can go into the mountains, or you can go into the desert. Wherever it is you want to go, you can take your RV. And the RVs, it's not roughing it anymore. I mean, there are some more simple RVs. They've got teardrop trailers, but even those, they can come in with a bathroom or a microwave or a TV if you're wanting to watch the Cardinals game wherever you are. Or you can get something a little bit bigger and have all the comforts of a fireplace and a washer and dryer and a residential style refrigerator. It's all a possibility, and RV has a little bit of everything there on the lot in Eureka. This weekend would be a great time to go check it out because they have some fantastic deals on both new and used RVs. You can check some of those out online at ByerlyRV.com. But like I mentioned, it's always better just to get to the dealership because they can walk you through some things and you tell them what kind of car you have and if you want to pull, and they can lead you straight to the section you need to be in. ByerlyRV.com.
Spring is here, and that means you're going to be spending more time outside and enjoying the outdoors. But your deck You've been thinking about doing something with that deck for years. Don't wait any longer. Go see my friends over there at Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It's right there. It's been there a long time. At Outdoor Living, the showroom has a great style, great designs. You can get all sorts of options. They'll come out to your house. They'll do a site visit, and when you're ready, they'll build you a deck with metal framing, composite decking, and they will put a 50-year warranty on that deck. That's right. You don't have to worry about staining. You don't have to worry about warping or anything else. All you have to worry about is how much fun you're going to have. They've also got pergolas and fences and patios furniture. Yeah, they got patio furniture at Outdoor Living. Check out the showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It looks like the old Denny's. You're in the right place. Or online, outdoorlivinginc.com for all of your patio needs and a 50-year warranty on that new deck. OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Game day comfort steps up to the plate Saturday, April 11th, when the Cardinals face the Boston Red Sox downtown. That night, fans can score a Cardinals dugout hoodie presented by Mercy, built for cool nights, late innings, and early season baseball. It's a classic, easy-to-wear layer you'll reach for all year long. Available in medium or extra large while supplies last. Don't miss this spring matchup. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred Birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
I trust Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis with my home when it matters most. They are the local experts who know our area best. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio to learn more. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, Sunday is Easter Sunday, and if you're looking for a great wine to pair with lunch or dinner, Mike Ward has you covered. It is always good to see you.
Great to be here on this, one of the most important weekends, holiday weekends, and because it's usually centered around a meal, at least with the family, it's a great wine pairing weekend.
I was telling the guys that earlier, like this is you kind of geek out over Easter because there's so many different things to pair around the table.
Yeah, because it's not just ham. There's all kinds of side dishes. There's dessert.
Right.
There's all kinds of possibilities. Got to have you got to have 2 or maybe 3 glasses out. Don't have just one wine. We've got you covered with Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cabernet, anything you want.
Well, how do we, us, cretins out here, when it comes to wine, how do we figure out how to pair it?
Well,
or just
first
keep
of all,
opening bottles until we find something we like.
I like that idea. Yeah. Take the main dishes, and then you can put a wine with those. But you got to make sure that you have something for everybody. That's why these wines we're talking about today, there's really a flavor there, a flavor profile that fit the food, but also everyone's palate.
Well, one of the many things that we love about Mike, not just his enthusiasm when it comes to pairing, but his connections. So we're also joined by Alyssa Reynolds, the winemaker for Line 39 Wines. Thanks for making time for us this afternoon, Alyssa.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
So when did you know you wanted to make wine?
So I didn't know going into it. I thought I wanted to be an architect, actually.
Really?
And then I decided a week before my college applications were due that I didn't want to do that because I'm not really a construction management girly. Shout out to everyone that is. So I took a year off, and my dad was always super into wine when I was growing up. And we went out to dinner at some point, and he said, Alyssa, why don't you make wine for a living? And I was like, oh, Dad, you would love that. It'd be a convenient family hookup. Yeah, right. But I looked a lot into it when I got home that night, and I was like, that is something I can do. I didn't realize it was something that you could get into if it wasn't in the family. Like I thought it'd be a multi-generational thing, but it's not at all. You can just go to school for it and be a winemaker. And so I fell in love with the idea at that point because I love entertaining. I love fostering connection. Wine's great at that. And I also really like science and making things. So it's a great cross between that. So I went back to my dad and I said, Dad, I could do this. And he said, yeah, I know. Oh, okay, great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you have siblings,
but
I'm betting you're the favorite.
Yeah. I'm the oldest, the favorite.
That's great.
Yeah. So in college, what was the kind of strangest thing that you had to study when you're looking back and you're like, really? We have to learn this?
That is such an interesting question. We did all the normal stuff, right? Like how do grapes grow and how is wine made? But there's a lot of overlap with just normal chemistry and normal biology. So I took a microbiology class that I think we talked one day about yeast, and everything else was like bacteria, viruses for majors that were not mine. So I learned a whole lot about immunology and viral diseases. So that was all very silly.
Very interesting. Give us an overview of Line 39 Wines and the different grape varieties that you specialize in.
Yeah, of course. So Line 39 is great because we cover the gamut of the standard wine varieties, right? So we have a Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio, Merlot, a red blend. Hopefully I didn't leave any of my children out there.
I was going to say, is there one that's more enjoyable to make?
They're all a little different, and they're all fun for different reasons. Pinot Grigio is generally one of the first grapes that comes into the winery every year. It gets ripest the soonest. And so it's like the harvest is still young. We're still full of vibrancy and life, and it really kicks off the year. And so it's really fun. It's always like, oh, yes, it's time. It's a new vintage. It's going to be great. And in 25, the Pinot Grigio was delicious, too. So.
Alyssa, this is Mike. Thanks for being here today. I really appreciate your time. It's always good to have a winemaker on. I really am interested in this brand with the earth-friendly, the sustainable component of it. And that's so important and I think meaningful when you see that on the label. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that and the philosophy behind it?
Of course, yeah, I agree with you, right? Sustainability is super important to me personally. It's super important to the company as a whole, and sustainability for Line 39 is really the backbone of everything that we do. Starting from the vineyards, they're farmed sustainably, which means they focus on how they're taking care of the soil, how water is being used, how pesticides are applied, and honestly, most importantly, how labor is being used, how the people are being treated that farm and harvest those grapes. So that's really important. And then we get it into the winery, where we have a ton of renewable energy. We have a lot of solar at the winery. All of our wastewater goes through, we have these worms. We have these giant, Olympic pool-sized beds of earthworms that all the wastewater goes through. So we naturally are able to treat all of our wastewater before we return it to the water table.
Amazing.
Did you say an Olympic-sized pool of worms?
Yeah, 12 of them.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot of worms.
Okay.
But worms are great. They're nature's decomposers. They really do a better job than any artificial means could to filter any impurities out of that water.
Amazing.
I'm just thinking about having
Yeah.
too much wine and accidentally falling into one of those pools. That would be gross.
Well, it's not water, so you just fall on top of a bunch of worms.
Still.
So.
Ooh.
It could be worse.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about fishermen, trying to keep fishermen out of the area.
For all of the worms. Yeah, that is so interesting. So the label states that the wines are made in a certified sustainable winery. Is that part of that?
Yes. Yeah, so the vineyards are certified sustainable and the winery is as well. So, like I said, that means that we're really cognizant of how we're using energy, how all of the employees are treated and paid, how the wastewater is used, everything's recycled.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That
it's,
seems
it's
like
really
it takes
all-encompassing.
even more work, but I want to go down to the simplest. Why is it named Line 39?
So line 39 references the 39th parallel, which is a latitudinal, line that goes around the globe. And it goes through Northern California, but it also goes through France, and it goes through Italy, and just pretty solid winemaking regions around the world. So it's just kind of a callback to the land that the wine comes from.
Alyssa, you and I were talking, and you mentioned a little connection with Missouri when you came in and flew into St. Louis and then went to our great Missouri cooperage down in Lebanon, where some of the best barrels are made. We talk about it once in a while for whiskey barrels, and few people know that some of the world's best wine barrels are there. But you got to meet with those people, and did they help you make some choices for the barrels?
Yeah, it was really wonderful and super informative. So we use a kind of a blend of American oak and French oak for our Line 39, and all of the American oak that we use comes from those Missouri oak forests. And so, we went out there. We met with everyone from the foresters that kind of grow the trees, take care of the forest, all the way through to the cooperage, where, of course, we went to the mill where they cut the trees into staves, and then the cooperage where they turn it into barrels. I got to toast a barrel. It was fascinating.
Oh, cool.
I love seeing that process. Super artisanal, interesting work that they do over there.
Okay, now all the listeners can know that there's a local connection with these wines, because we do have the best oak in the world here. Alyssa, what's going on in California as far as the vineyards right now? I know that we're just at the beginning of this harvest, but what are you kind of watching? How's the weather? What are you anticipating for this year's grape harvest?
Yeah, so we've hit bud break. So all the vineyards in the area, I'm in the Central Valley of California, right in the middle. They all have beautiful green canopies developing. It's been pretty warm and nice, so the grapes are thriving. I think it's going to be a warmer year this year than it was last year. I don't know how familiar you guys are with California climate, but it was a relatively cool year last year. I think this year is going to be hot, which is good for the development of fruit character and just overall ripeness. So I think we're going to have a good year just maintaining the weather. We had some good rain earlier in the season. I have high hopes for 26.
We're talking to Alyssa Reynolds, a winemaker for Line 39 Wines. And I'm wondering, when you go year to year and you're dealing with the climate, and how do you make sure that this year's bottle tastes like last year's bottle?
That is a great question and a huge part of my job every year. Thankfully, we get fruit from multiple regions in California. So we get grapes from the valley where I am now. We get grapes from Paso Robles. We get grapes from Monterey. Pretty typical wine growing regions, and we keep them all separate in the winery. So I have multiple pieces, and then it's like cooking, right? I have multiple tanks of different things, and you make a blend that is similar to the previous year. And so it's different every year. The blend of the wines changes a little bit each year to try to maintain that style that we're shooting for that is so delicious.
Alyssa, wasn't there an earthquake there yesterday? Was there an earthquake near you?
South of San Francisco, right?
It was
that's
near
exciting.
Santa Barbara. So
Apparently, Alyssa didn't feel anything
wasn't it in the
shaking.
Santa Cruz Mountains.
Yeah, Santa Cruz Mountains.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel it, huh?
I didn't feel it. And my mom's in Santa Barbara, and she didn't even tell me.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
I
as
think
long
it
as
was
she's
actually-
safe.
I think it was actually in Boulder, California.
Okay.
In the middle of the mountains.
Okay.
Didn't mean to alarm you. She's fine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mom's okay.
No, we have earthquakes all the time. I feel like I missed out.
Yeah.
Like FOMO. If I don't feel the earthquake, like, dang it.
The 4.2, 4.5, something like that.
Oh, it's probably just mild then.
Yeah.
Alyssa, I want to go back
Just a little
to
one.
the cooperage and you actually picking out, those barrels. How much does that play into the taste of the wine?
Yeah, so the Line 39 wines are not so oaky, right? Like we don't go super powerful oak character, but it's a really important backbone for the Chardonnay, of course, and then all the reds, the Pinot Noir, the Cabernet, the Merlot. That it supports the structure of those wines to give the fruit character something to really build on. And in the case of the reds, it really adds a nice, vanilla spice. And American oak in particular is so vanilla forward, and we love vanilla.
Well, I mean, obviously you can't take a bite out of that wood. Do you just look at the color? How do you decide what kind of flavor that's going to add?
Yeah, so there are certain compounds in the oak itself that we
Okay.
expect, but the main differentiation with oak is the toast level, so how dark it gets when they fire roast it, for lack of a better term. So the lighter toasts kind of focus more like coconut, vanilla, graham cracker, and then the darker you toast it, the more you get into spice and chocolate and coffee.
Oh, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. There's so many different toasts and different kinds of wood, and the grain tightness makes a difference. It's like a spice cabinet of wonderful things.
Well, the Line 39, I know a lot of the reviews often highlight the wines are approachable and easy drinking and a decent value for the everyday table wines. It's been such an honor to talk to you, Alyssa. Thank you, and keep up the great work. And then, Mike, we can find these in most of the grocery stores and wine shops, right?
That's the good news. If you're still looking for something for Easter, these are so easy to find. Schnucks, Deerbergs, Total Wine, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, and they're all priced around that $10 range, which is like my sweet spot. Perfect for when you need a bunch of wine because the family's coming over and you need really good wine. So anywhere you go, you will be able to find these. Any store you're in already getting your Easter stuff, you can run into the wine department. These are easy to find. And then also Mike at wardonwine.com, and I can direct you exactly where you can find them.
All right. And if you have a question about pairing something, if you have something that you're making this Sunday and you're like, what kind of wine should I get? You can always email Mike at wordonwine.com. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Alyssa, it was a pleasure. Happy Easter to both of you.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter. Thank you so much.
It's 4:35. We got to check back in with Sobe Bay, who's in the KTRS Traffic Center today.
Hey, Heidi. Not too bad right now. We have the usual slow spots. 270 bogs down in both directions, approaching 64. Slow traffic in the city, 64 west between Kings Highway and Bellevue. Manchester Road, heavy both directions from Sulphur Springs to Barrett Station. This traffic report is brought to you by Aldon Heating and Cooling. Persistent St. Louis heat is on the way. Now is the time to take advantage of Aldon's $79 AC check. Book your appointment now as spaces are filling up fast. And for information on state-of-the-art Daikin Fit systems, visit al-don.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you so much.
All right. Just had a big wine conversation. I had the wrong microphone on. Maybe I'm drinking too much wine.
I was going to say, what's going on there?
But I wonder if you drink a lot of wine, does it stain your teeth? We all know about coffee. We know about cigarettes. But does wine stain your teeth over prolonged use? Well, if it has, or one of those other things have stained your teeth, you could go see a dentist and get a nice teeth whitening. Last time I was in to the dentist, he said, "What do you think about a teeth whitening?" And I said, "Why did you say that? Are you saying, do I need one?"
Well, you know what? You're supposed to start it earlier. Like by the time that you get to a certain age and maybe some of that white has disappeared, it might be too late. Ask them.
I'm going to ask him next time I go in, and I go in every 6 months, if not more, hopefully not more, but every 6 months because I've got a great dentist, and you can have a great dentist as well. I go to see Dr. Sean Landgraf. He is with Florissant Dental Services in Florissant, STL Mid-County Dental in Creve Coeur, and now their third location, Lake St. Louis Dentistry, out off of Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a half mile from 4064. There is another dentist office out there that has a very similar name, but don't be discouraged. It is Lake St. Louis Dentistry, lakestlouisdentistry.com. Their phone number is 636-333-6150. Dr. Mulla is the full-time dentist out in Lake St. Louis, but Dr. Sean Landgraf spends a lot of time out there. He's my dentist. He can be yours, too. They can be your dentists as well, no matter where you live. Florissant Dental, STL Mid-County in Creve Coeur, and now the brand-new offices out in Lake St. Louis. lakestlouisdentistry.com.
Spring is here, and that means you're going to be spending more time outside and enjoying the outdoors. But your deck, you've been thinking about doing something with that deck for years. Don't wait any longer. Go see my friends over there at Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It's right there. It's been there a long time. At Outdoor Living, the showroom has a great style, great designs. You can get all sorts of options. They'll come out to your house. They'll do a site visit, and when you're ready, they'll build you a deck with metal framing, composite decking, and they will put a 50-year warranty on that deck. That's right. You don't have to worry about staining. You don't have to worry about warping or anything else. All you have to worry about is how much fun you're going to have. They've also got pergolas and fences and patios furniture. Yeah, they got patio furniture at Outdoor Living. Check out the showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It looks like the old Denny's. You're in the right place. Or online, outdoorlivinginc.com for all of your patio needs and a 50-year warranty on that new deck. OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Game day comfort steps up to the plate Saturday, April 11th, when the Cardinals face the Boston Red Sox downtown. That night, fans can score a Cardinals dugout hoodie presented by Mercy, built for cool nights, late innings, and early season baseball. It's a classic, easy-to-wear layer you'll reach for all year long. Available in medium or extra large while supplies last. Don't miss this spring matchup. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a kids' Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred Birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/kidssunday.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Are you ready for tax season? A new administration in Washington guarantees there are changes to the tax law coming. Don't let changes to the tax code catch you off guard. Hi, I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the #1 best-selling book on taxes, Keep What's Yours, and the soon-to-be-released book, Keeping What's Yours, the Strategic Tax Planning Guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill. For 50 years, our team has helped hundreds of area businesses get their financial plans in order, reduce their tax liability, and stop overpaying their federal and state income taxes. If you're not taking full advantage of the tax law and you feel like you might be paying more than your fair share in taxes, Then let us help you plan for 2026 and take advantage of the new tax laws. To learn more, give us a call at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Well, Heidi and Bob, back in the day on this date, April 3rd, 166 years ago, 1860, the Pony Express began service between Missouri and California.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know how long the Pony Express lasted?
I know, but I can't recall exactly. It's something like 13 months.
Yeah. I'm right. I'm typing it out.
The Telegraph came in right behind him and put him out of business.
It was 18 months from start to finish. 1860 to April 3rd, 1860 to October 26, 1861.
Yeah.
And that was all she wrote.
Telegraph put him out of business.
So it's funny, we learn all about this. Every kid in America, I don't know nowadays, but every kid my age and older in America, oh, the Pony Express, St. Joseph to San Francisco.
Yeah, but still it was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Pretty cool deal, but it only lasted 18
But it was
months.
still a cool deal regardless.
I was going to say, some things aren't meant to last too long.
Don't take a dump on the Pony Express.
I think it's fast, and then they hand off the bag to the next guy, and they keep going on.
Right.
It's fascinating. Sticking with the Old West theme, 1882, Jesse James was shot in the back by his cousin and gang member of his own gang, Robert Ford. Sold him out for the $10,000 reward.
Coward, Robert Ford.
Did anybody watch the movie with Brad Pitt? And
it's really pretty good.
Casey Affleck?
Yeah, it's really a good movie.
It just scared me because it was like 2.5, 3 hours long.
Yeah, it probably could have been trimmed up a little
lot of movies, though, are 2.5 hours long.
Did you see the thing today? They said it's not your imagination. Movies are much longer.
Yeah. I mean, there used to be a lot of great hour-and-a-half movies. You were in and out.
But I think if it's good, I'm
doesn't
okay.
matter.
We've talked about it
I
before.
agree.
If it's good, I keep wanting more.
I remember as a kid thinking hour and a half is the length of a movie. 90
and
minutes.
many were, yeah.
And now when I see that, some of the cartoons that Finn watches, some of the movies that are out there, 90 minutes. I mean, boy, this is short.
Well, that's because Finn's watching it, and you want the babysitter to stay a little longer.
Are you kidding me? We don't have babysitters.
I'm calling the movie The Babysitter.
Oh, that babysitter. 1953, the first issue of TV Guide hit the newsstands.
Here's how old I am, and you guys aren't. I couldn't wait. My mom coming back from the grocery store with the new TV guide to go. I would actually read the feature articles and then go through and see what I'm going to watch all week.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. We would get the Saturday paper. It's the Sunday paper on Saturday, and they'd have the paper's version of the TV. It wasn't TV Guide, but it was the
lineup,
the TV listings.
Yes.
Yeah. And there would be some articles in there, but it was just page after page after page of the grid of what was on. And now that grid exists on our TVs, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Lucille Ball, her baby, Desi Arnaz Jr. were on the first cover.
That makes sense.
That's interesting.
1953, the first TV Guide. 1968, the original Planet of the Apes was released.
I love that movie.
Heidi's still scared of it.
She's throwing up over there. No, what?
I hate it. So scary.
Oh, Bob was gone.
Yeah.
Bob was gone when we talked about this.
I think I did have a babysitter when it was airing on TV one night, and the way they looked, I had to turn it off. I had nightmares about it. I hated it. They are the equivalent of the Wizard of Oz monkeys to me.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
I can see that connection. Absolutely. But so I saw it at the theater. Was that 1969, you said?
1968.
68. So I'm 12. And Chuck Heston and the whole sci-fi dystopian thing was really cool. And, of course, remember, I'm 12. Nova.
Well, yeah, but I think Heidi and the masks and everything, I told her my fear that day was Lady Elaine, the puppet from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in the land of make-believe. I think puppets and masks are just off-putting.
That's why I don't like Halloween.
Just in general. So.
It can be creepy, for sure.
Heidi, do you know how the movie ends?
No. Okay. And I don't ever need to know, and I will never watch it.
They blew it up. those damn dirty apes. They blew it up. 1968, same day, 2001, A Space Odyssey premiered in New York.
Classic that I don't care for.
I really like it, and it's
really don't. It's too boring and doesn't make sense.
It's taken years and reading multiple articles for me to even close to come to, I sort of get it.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Movie people love it.
1978 50th Academy Awards, Woody Allen won Best Director for Annie Hall.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Annie Hall also won Best Picture, and Diane Keaton won Best Actress for her role.
She was
as
already a terrific
But that
working
sent
actress.
her into the stratosphere.
Sure did.
Diane Keaton's name is Diane Hall, and her nickname is Annie, so he named the movie after her.
I didn't
did
know
not
that.
know that. That's now
didn't know
that finally.
Yeah,
Something good,
there we
guys.
go. Got to it.
Stop with the Pony Express.
Yeah.
stuff.
I've got one
Give
more.
me Diane Keaton.
I've got two more, but here's another one. The Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, was arrested on this date in 1996. Do you know what the Unabomber stands for?
I did at one time.
He
Go ahead.
targeted universities
Yes.
and airlines. Unabomber.
Okay.
And then in 2010, Apple released the first generation of the iPad on this date in 2010.
Heard a great story about the window store the other day. Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store, 314-739-0002 or wswindow.net, told me a story. He had a customer call him up and say that he wanted to replace his white vinyl windows with darker windows. And so, of course, Larry took care of him. So now they're all darker and sort of brown in color. It looks beautiful. They're energy efficient. There was no upselling. They're great quality windows, and Larry Thornton and the window store took care of him. That's what he does. The price is extremely reasonable, better than the national companies because there aren't the layers of middle management. The window store has been around for 38 plus years. Proud sponsor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Windows, and don't forget about doors. Doors can get really expensive real fast. That's why you want to go with a company you can trust. Installation, price, selection, quality. The window store. Window store. wswindow.net. 314-739-0002, wswindow.net.
It's bracket season. Dogtown bracket, that is. And while the players take the court, the Dogtown pizzas hit the ovens.
Pepperoni versus sausage. Bacon versus veggie. And don't forget #1 overall seed.
Hot chicken. And with 13 different varieties, this will be the tastiest Final Four in league history. Celebrate tournament time with Dogtown Pizza and build your own bracket with 13 different varieties. Dogtown Pizza and dogtownpizza.com.
Are you tired of looking at the same faded walls in your home or office? Are you ready for a change? Call Mike Ruffino and his team at Ruffino's Painting, specializing in interior and exterior, commercial and residential painting. They'll take the time to get to know you, your space, and your expectations to ensure they create the atmosphere you're looking for. Whether it's a simple recoat, a color change, or a complete makeover, you'll work with them together to achieve your desired results. Give them a call or visit them, or call 636-655-0820. Ruffino'sPainting.com. Ruffino's Painting. They're a cut above the rest.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
10 minutes before 5 o'clock, let's check back in with Sobe Bay, who's in the KTRS Traffic Center.
Hey, Heidi. An accident has been cleared, but expect delays from the crash on 70 West right before Lambert Airport. 270 bogs down in both directions, approaching 64, and slow traffic in the city, 64 West, between Kings Highway and McCausland. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
With Pam Bondi out, Todd Blanche has his work cut out for him. Royal Oaks, ABC News legal analyst, joins us with his thoughts. I mean, where does he even pick up? Does he continue with what the cases she's been working on, or does he get a blank slate and just starts from scratch?
Well, it's like that old Einstein quote about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So we know that Pam Bondi was almost certainly fired for two reasons. First, the Epstein thing just wouldn't go away, and she mishandled it. And secondly, she didn't get the scalps. Donald Trump wanted her to prosecute James Comey, Adam Schiff, Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, and she filed charges on all of them, but they got rejected, they got tossed out or limited. This does not make Donald Trump a happy camper. And so I think, getting back to the Einstein thing, Todd Blanche, who, remember, was Trump's lawyer in the Stormy Daniels case where Trump was convicted of 34 felonies, but then no jail, no fines. So it worked out great for him. Obviously, Blanche has to say to himself, I got to shake things up and do much better on these two massive war fronts where Pam Bondi didn't do so well and lost her job.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I don't know, is this a job that anybody wants? I mean, he's just in it for a short time. Is it kind of like, no, don't give it to me?
Well, yeah, as you say, an interim attorney general is interim because every cabinet member, including the AG, has to be confirmed by the Senate. But you want somebody to be able to keep the chair warm and do the job 9 to 5 until the Senate confirms a permanent person. So the betting is that Todd Blanche will not be that permanent person, that Trump is still looking around. But in the meantime, sure, he wants to do well. I mean, as to why he would take a job, I mean, it's kind of, if you're into public service, it's sort of the pinnacle of your career, unless you're going to be president or vice president. To be in the cabinet, it's kind of like being in the U.S. Senate. I mean, that's how people refer to you for the rest of your life. It's a big fancy deal. And so his hope is probably, gee, I hope this works out as well as the Stormy Daniels case for Donald Trump eventually worked out with absolutely no negative results from the 34 convictions.
Royal, if the president or the DOJ called you for advice, would you tell them to maybe not concentrate on your political adversaries, but maybe go kind of do double duty and go after all this alleged fraud going on? Do you think that's more of a political winner, or if they stay down the same path, again, with the Einstein thing, that it'll end up hurting them in the long run?
No, you raise a really good point. I think politically, sure, to talk sense to the president in terms of fraud issues and affordability, and we can't be over in Iran too long. I think Trump has picked up on that. So yeah, that's smart advice. The difficulty is Donald Trump really, really wants these folks to pay, and without speculating as to his motives, let's assume that he sincerely believes all his political enemies deserve actually to go to prison. I think the other thing you do as a new AG is to say, okay, I'm going to get the smartest possible people and the most incredibly thorough investigators, and we're going to dig up enough to let these charges survive. Because so far, the reason Comey and Powell of the Fed and James and Schiff are doing okay is because either a grand jury or a regular judge have looked at this and said it's not good enough. So Donald Trump wants somebody who will come up with something that will pass muster before grand juries and judges, because that's the only way he'll have a shot at forcing somebody to endure the charges through a trial.
But you can't create charges against someone. I mean, if there's no there. And to Bob's point, do you win more points attacking your political enemies or by doing a really good job? So, Yeah,
no, it's a very tough thing if your investigators have not come up with enough to allow charges to survive. In the meantime, the big guy in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is grinding his teeth at night because, just like Jeffrey Sessions was a disastrous attorney general the first time around and, unleashed the hounds by stepping aside and letting Mueller get in there, this attorney general, Donald Trump has said it. Where's my Roy Cohn? He wants a pit bull lawyer who's super smart, who maybe can cross ethical lines. And so far, he just has not had that person on his side.
What about Todd Blanche being his personal defense attorney at one point in time? Is that problematic if Todd goes before the Senate for confirmation to be the actual attorney general? I'm sure that will come up. But would that be problematic for anyone that he picks to have served for him personally?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, when you think about it, going back into political history, John Kennedy picked Robert Kennedy, his little brother, to be attorney general in the Kennedy administration. So it's not disqualifying for you to have a super personal connection, whether it's familial or professional. The key is, can the nominee convince the senators that he's not going to be, the president's personal cookie jar, that he's going to do justice regardless of what the president wants.
And then just the last one for me, you had mentioned that being in the cabinet is the pinnacle of your career. It's like being in the Senate. Well, Senator Markwayne Mullin has left the Senate to go into the cabinet. I would think that the Senate's the best place to be. What would your thoughts be on that?
Yeah, it's interesting because they have their own different levels of prestige. If you're ambitious and want to go to higher office, and from the U.S. Senate, the only place you could really go would be a state governor or the VP or the president. So a lot of senators look in the mirror and they see one of those jobs. But if you go to the cabinet, that's not considered generally a stepping stone to a continued career where you're going to reach your pinnacle. Okay, it's a long shot, but doggone it, I want to be president. Instead, you're sort of settling in a sense. That's probably going to be the glass ceiling, but it's a pretty fancy glass ceiling because it is a remarkably high office.
You get to hang out in the White House more than most.
True, right.
Royal, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
If you're looking for ways to spend time this weekend, maybe it's time to stop by St. Louis County Library and grab a new book. Coming up, we're going to talk to Leland Vittert, who is the host of On Balance with Leland Vittert. He's also News Nation's chief Washington anchor, but he's the author of Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. It's Autism Awareness Month, and so he'll share his story with us coming up at 5:30. But if you know someone with autism, it's a great book that you can check out at the library. The library offers so much for everybody. So when you sign up for your library card, you can explore the collection of books, but there's also music and streaming content. There are all sorts of free programs. And they've got the Library of Things, where this weekend, if it's pretty and you want to go fishing but don't have a fishing pole, you can go check out a fishing pole. Or maybe you keep hearing about everybody playing pickleball, but you don't want to go buy your own racket. You can check out pickleball equipment at the St. Louis County Library. GoPro cameras, binoculars, even musical instruments. That's all of what you'll find at the St. Louis County Library. And then you've also got the Emerson History and Genealogy Center, the Teen Creative Lab, and like I mentioned, so many free programs and author events. So to learn more and to find the branch near you, just go to slcl.org.
And now, KTRS weather.
Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs towards the lower 80s. Could see a few isolated showers and storms, but for the most part, we're going to remain pretty dry this afternoon. Then late tonight into Saturday morning early, we're going to be tracking a widespread showers and storm event with a long line approaching back from the west. Could see some stronger winds with this system. These showers will continue to remain with us as we head off into Saturday morning, clearing by the afternoon. Then by Easter Sunday, a high of 59 degrees, mostly sunny conditions. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Scotch for the Big 550 KTRS.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
From ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. A U.S. search and rescue effort is underway after an F-15 fighter jet was shot down by Iran over Iranian territory. One person aboard has been recovered. Another is still missing. ABC's Britt Clennett in Jerusalem says it puts the Trump administration's plan for the war under further scrutiny.
We heard from the president on Wednesday night in his address claiming that Americans have successfully wiped out their radar systems and American and Air Force capabilities, air defense capabilities. But, there are now questions as to whether that is true or to what extent that is true.
It's one of two downed American aircrafts in the Middle East today. An A-10 Warthog aircraft was hit by incoming fire over Iran and crashed in Kuwait, according to a U.S. official. That pilot has been recovered by American forces, though their condition remains unknown. The war also putting pressure on gas prices, which are now up to their highest level since the conflict began. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis for GasBuddy, says states in the heartland will feel the pain at the pump after Easter weekend.
Minnesota, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas,
Missouri and Iowa likely to wake up on Monday to prices that could increase 25 to 40 cents a gallon.
DeHaan says Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio could see gas prices up 25 to 50 cents a gallon. The economy added 178,000 jobs in March, according to today's report from the Labor Department, far exceeding analyst expectations. And the 4 crew members aboard the Artemis II mission are now 2 days into their trip around the moon. Aaron Rosengren is a professor of space systems at UC San Diego.
They left their parking orbit and they're en route, so they'll get there in about 4 days, and hopefully they'll have a very beautiful Earthrise, the first one seen in 54 years from the moon's vantage.
You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
22 states are suing the Trump administration over a new executive order on mail-in voting.
3 days since its signing, Donald Trump's executive order to overhaul mail-in voting has now been challenged by at least 4 different federal lawsuits. The latest lawsuit was filed on Friday by 22 states in the District of Columbia, arguing the order is, quote, as unprecedented as it is unconstitutional. They're asking a judge to block enforcement of the order, which directed the post office to only send mail-in ballots to people on a list of federally approved voters. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
The EPA is now considering adding microplastics to an official list of drinking water contaminants. That could lead to new regulations for water utilities, says ABC's Sophie Flay.
Health Secretary RFK Jr. citing a small study that links microplastics in arterial plaque to a 4.5 times higher risk of heart attack, stroke, or death in patients with artery disease. He says microplastics have also been found in tests of human placentas, meaning exposure begins before birth.
We do not ignore signals like that. We investigate them.
Kennedy announcing a $144 million program to measure and remove these particles from the body.
Studies have found that microplastics in numerous human tissues, including the brain, but experts warn there's not yet enough research to know how they may affect our health. And it could be a weekend of severe weather for some, with winter weather and ice advisories in effect for 2 million people in the upper Midwest. I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, our credit card bill came and it's higher than last month.
How? We haven't charged anything.
Paying the minimum isn't enough. It will keep getting higher until we take control. We need to go to 47fastcash.com.
With our bad credit?
47fastcash.com can help any credit type get approved for up to $5,000 in minutes.
Take control and get the money you need at 47fastcash.com. 47fastcash.com.
82 degrees at 5:05 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. A woman who had stopped to assist another motorist was struck and killed overnight along I-70 in North St. Louis. Police say it happened on eastbound 70 near Union. The driver remained on the scene. A state lawmaker is hosting a town hall in response to the deadly shooting at a North County high school.
A town hall focusing on violence prevention will be held in North County this weekend. Representative Kem Smith is hosting the event in response to the shooting earlier this week at McClure South Berkeley High School that claimed the life of a 13-year-old boy and critically injured another teen. The town hall will be held on Saturday from 11 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon at Calvary Bible Church in Florissant. Sheila Enders, KTRS News.
A bill banning intoxicating hemp products is now on the desk of the Missouri governor. It was approved by both chambers and requires Missouri retailers to remove hemp seltzers, gummies, and similar products from their shelves by November the 12th. Stores will still be allowed to sell products that have less than 0.4 milligrams of THC. As the spring weather season begins, St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer reports that the city is now better prepared for severe storms than it was a year ago when last May's tornado exposed serious weaknesses in how the city both prepared and responded. At a press conference yesterday, she said St. Louis is now operating a unified, coordinated system and is more prepared now to protect residents. She cited improvements to the outdoor warning siren system, unified command and coordination, and partnerships with the National Weather Service, state agencies, regional emergency management partners, and nonprofit organizations, including the Red Cross.
There is, of course, more work ahead, but today St. Louis is better prepared than it was a year ago, and we will continue to do this work to ensure that our residents are safer each and every day.
Spencer says work continues in updating the city's emergency operations plan, and she recommends that residents sign up for emergency alerts through Notify STL. And the Illinois Treasurer's Office is calling on young photographers in the state to submit their photographs to the 2026 Cream of the Crop Photography Contest. Now in its 14th year, the contest is for students aged 8 to 18 to share images that focus on agriculture. The winners will receive college savings accounts and have their photographs featured on a calendar. The contest entry deadline is June 12th. This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Several buildings in the 4200 block of Manchester Road in St. Louis have been approved to become bread and breakfasts. The second and third floors will have guest rooms and suites with retail space on the first floors. The markets are closed today in observance of Good Friday, so right now let's check in with Sobe for KTRS Sports and Traffic.
Steve, the Cardinals were shut out today, managing only 5 hits and a 4-0 loss in Detroit. Starter Michael McGreevy gave up 3 runs and took the loss. The Blues West Coast swing rolls on tonight in Anaheim against the Ducks. Illinois basketball meets UConn in the Final Four tomorrow afternoon in Indianapolis. Check out a special Illini preview show tonight at 6 with game day coverage of the Final Four showdown starting at 4 tomorrow afternoon right here on the Big 550. I'm Sobe Bay from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. Now on to traffic. An accident has been cleared, but expect delays from the crash on 70 West before Lambert Airport. 270 bogs down in both directions approaching 64. And we do have some construction notes tonight. 2 eastbound lanes of 44 will be closed between 109 and 141 from 7 until 5 tomorrow morning. And 1 eastbound and 1 westbound lane of 255 will be closed between Coke and 55 from 8 tonight to 5 tomorrow morning. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. They offer free evaluations and take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. Visit dentsexpressstl.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
Watch for showers and thunderstorms tonight, an overnight low in the mid-50s. We have a chance for some rain tomorrow morning, with temperatures holding through the day tomorrow in the mid-50s. At 5:09, cloudy, 82 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, I don't know about you, but I thought it was only broke college kids who donated their plasma to make a little money. That's not the case anymore. Curtis Lee is a reporter for the New York Times. He recently wrote an article on just that. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what led you down the path of plasma centers to begin with?
Yeah, so we're looking at the economy in America right now, and just looking at the prices going up. You see the price of groceries, the persistent price of groceries being high. Gas now with the war in Iran has risen quite a bit around the country. The cost of healthcare is also up there. So we were looking at different ways to get a story that looks at how people are supplementing their income. A lot of times you read stories and you hear about people, starting to drive for Uber and Lyft, or started doing food delivery as a way to supplement their income. And this way of looking at plasma, I mean, was kind of a different way into the story.
So, what is the average amount of money that somebody can make by donating plasma?
It really varies how much someone can make. It's basically depends on different things like their weight, also the frequency with which they donate. So it very much does vary. And the plasma center I spent time outside of was in the suburbs of Houston. And on average, we found that people were making about $70 each visit to the plasma donation center.
And how often can you go?
You can go twice a week based on Food and Drug Administration regulations. It's 2 days a week is the maximum amount of times people can go. And a lot of the people that we spoke to were maxing out on that and going twice a week.
And Curtis, what is the process of donating plasma like?
Well, the process, I mean, with the company that I was outside of CSL Plasma, I mean, people have to fill out questionnaires before they go in to donate plasma that get at their, medical history, their sexual history, their any medications that they're taking. Also, there's a brief kind of physical exam that checks people's vital signs before they donate, and then they actually sit down and donate plasma. And the process is usually about 45 minutes to an hour. It can also be up to an hour and a half. And then obviously after that's done, their money is donated, is delivered onto a prepaid card. And one thing that we're seeing, again, with this story, we focused on how more and more of these plasma centers are moving into suburban middle-class areas of this country, in suburbs outside of Chicago, Las Vegas, Houston. And that's what we really wanted to hammer home, that this is not just something that people, in the lower income neighborhoods or communities are doing. This is much more being moved out into middle class and suburban areas. We're
talking to Curtis Lee, a reporter for the New York Times, who recently did a story on blood plasma centers moving into more middle class neighborhoods. What is plasma used for?
Plasma is used for a variety of things, different medical therapies for people who are burn victims, people who just need it for bleeding disorders or immunodeficiencies. So plasma is a very critical raw component used for different medical therapies with people in America and around the world.
And Curtis, I was the poor college student that Heidi mentioned at the top. I probably went 3 or 4 times, if I remember correctly. They checked between my toes to make sure that I wasn't a drug user. Like you said, it took about an hour or so. But are there any side effects to donating plasma, giving twice a week for continuing on week after week?
That's a good question. There hasn't been much research done on the long-term effects of donating plasma and what its influence on the body. But all in all, I mean, it's regarded as safe. I mean, there have been minimal incidents of people dying or getting sick donating plasma. A lot of people that I talked to in the suburbs of Houston, I mean, anecdotally speaking, people talked about fatigue after donating, really being tired and making sure that they're staying hydrated, because, I mean, this is, while it's easy to make the money, it can be draining on the body. But all in all, I mean, there hasn't been too much research on the long-term effects of donating plasma twice a week and what it can do to the body.
Curtis, I wonder if you have numbers over the last few years of the number of folks donating and maybe the amount of plasma being donated. I wonder, because a few years ago, inflation was up, gas was higher, and do we see the ebb and flow of the amount of donators sort of mirroring the graph of the economy?
That's a good question as well. On average, we talked to researchers that found that about 215,000 people donate plasma each day in the United States. And we've seen large record numbers of plasma being donated. America supplies about 70% of the world's plasma. Wow. So it's big business here in the United States. And, in recent years, some of the volume amounts have hit record highs based on what researchers have found. And yeah, I mean, it certainly has increased in recent years, the amount of collection and the amount of plasma that's being collected out there. So last year, for example, donors in the United States produced about 62.5 million liters of plasma, and that's the highest volume ever collected.
Oh,
and an
okay.
8% increase from the year before. And that's based on research by Peter Jaworski, who's a researcher at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C.
Well, you mentioned business, but plasma is also a raw material necessary to make some medical products, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely used quite a bit for medical therapies, for therapies such as bleeding disorders, immunodeficiencies, as well as burn victims at trauma centers around the country.
And plasma centers don't pop up overnight. I mean, rising gas prices, it's been about a month or so. We're not starting to see plasma centers on every corner out in the suburbs because of the recent activity in the Gulf. And your study, your reporting uses a study that was done right here at Washington University in St. Louis that was from back in 2023. So is this trend something that has been going on for a while? Is it something that we should actually be worried about to say that even people in the suburbs are feeling like they need extra income and are going in and donating their plasma?
Yeah, correct. Like you said, researchers at Washington University there in St. Louis, as well as the University of Colorado at Boulder, did a study recently that found between 2014 and 2021, the number of plasma centers in this country more than doubled. And then what we did, we took that study that those researchers did, and we continued on with that analysis, and we found that since that study ended, and the research ended in 2021, between 2021 and now, a lot of those plasma centers, the newer ones that have opened in suburbs around this country.
Oh.
And I mean, they're definitely in the suburbs of St. Louis, as well as, like I said, suburbs of Chicago, Houston, Las Vegas. And they're much more relevant in those suburban areas.
And Curtis, are there any people that just go in to donate plasma, kind of like we donate blood, just out of the goodness of their heart because it's needed?
Yeah, several people I also talked to said that, they don't necessarily need the money. The money is good to have, but they're not doing it primarily for financial reasons. They're doing it because they want to help people who need these medical therapies. And a lot of people I talked to did feel a kind of a stigma or a sense of shame around donating plasma. But, I also got a flood of emails from readers who said, hey, those people should not feel any stigma because the plasma that they're donating is really helping me, because I need some of those medical therapies that help my immunodeficiencies or my, bleeding disorders or liver ailments that people might have. And these plasma therapies are really helpful. So I heard kind of from both ends of the spectrum, people that really, needed it financially, but also just wanted to help people. And then also the people who are thanking those people who are donating plasma because it's really life-saving therapies that they're receiving.
Interesting.
And with blood, we think that it goes to a blood bank, and when there's, accidents or whatever, this is life-saving stuff. But with plasma, as Heidi brought up, sometimes it's used in medical products. Is any of this plasma going to one of the pharmaceutical or medical companies, getting put into a product that's getting jacked up and people are making profits off of it?
Well, certainly. I mean, the companies that run these plasma centers make a lot of those medical therapies and do make profits off of it. I mean, a lot of the reason they're in this is to obviously to get the plasma, but then to create the medical therapies. And I mean, with a lot of medicine in the country, I mean, there are increased and elevated, profit margins that are taking place.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, are these people getting lowballed at $70? And then do we need more plasma? We hit a record last year, but do we need even more?
That's a good question. In my reporting, I mean, it seems all in all that the United States is a leading collector of plasma, and it helps supply plasma for much of the world. There's only a handful of countries that allow for the payment of plasma. The United States is one of them. And it seems like all in all, I mean, there's plenty of plasma that's being collected in this country.
And Curtis, you might not have gone back this far, but when would we first start donating plasma and why?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back decades. And again, like my reporting doesn't go back that far, but I mean, there's a deep history of plasma donations in this country. And really my colleague and I who worked on this story, we focused on the last 20 years, but there is a history that goes even further back in terms of plasma donations in America.
Well, it is an interesting conversation for sure. Curtis, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you. You have a good weekend, and thanks for having me.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
Are you ready for tax season? A new administration in Washington guarantees there are changes to the tax law coming. Don't let changes to the tax code catch you off guard. Hi, I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the #1 best-selling book on taxes, Keep What's Yours, and the soon-to-be-released book, Keeping What's Yours, the Strategic Tax Planning Guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill. For 50 years, our team has helped hundreds of area businesses get their financial plans in order, reduce their tax liability, and stop overpaying their federal and state income taxes. If you're not taking full advantage of the tax law and you feel like you might be paying more than your fair share in taxes, then let us help you plan for 2026 and take advantage of the new tax laws. To learn more, give us a call at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
People were asked what they were planning to buy for Easter celebrations. Of course, we were talking about wine with Mike Ward, but 92% of the people asked said candy. I guess a lot of people, if they're hunting Easter eggs and maybe they're the plastic eggs, you have candy inside, but that was just ahead of the next most popular answer is food.
Yeah.
I mentioned that my mom has a lot of Easter stuff, but it's rabbits or maybe no clothing. No, it's not like any other holiday really where you decorate too much, right?
We've got several rabbits, a wreath. I probably have 7 rabbits in the house.
Really? Okay.
She just came in with 2 more this season. We've got a wreath. That's about it.
We don't bunny.
No, there's no bunny?
We don't bunny. That's pretty funny.
You don't bunny.
No bunny.
Yeah.
It's a no bunny zone.
Well, this woman could actually go spend a few extra dollars on Easter decorations if she wanted to. Her name's Emma, and she stumbled across an old gift card while doing some spring cleaning. I mean, how many gift cards do you have stuck in a drawer that you have no idea what they're worth?
And they're all probably expired by now.
Okay, well, get this. She's 28 years old, based in Phoenix. She and her husband were sorting through a stack of the old gift cards, and she noticed one that looked especially worn. She said, I originally got it when I was a child and somehow never used it. It ended up moving with me through different wallets over the years, and as she looked closer, she recognized the handwriting, and it was from one of her best friends. It was a card that had been a birthday gift from her childhood best friend back when they were in 3rd grade.
Oh my.
Cool.
She said it was warped and bent with her scribbly elementary handwriting. To Emma from Amy, I haven't seen her since 3rd grade. So this really struck me that she hasn't seen her, but this card has been with her for 20 years. And she said this shouldn't be a surprise that she kind of hangs on to things. Even as a child, she said my grandparents would send me cash for my birthday and tell me to buy something special. I ended up holding on to it instead. So still finding this card sparked a mix of curiosity and reflection. And she said, there's no way there's anything on this card. Why have I kept it?
Right.
But she did go ahead and call the number on the back. She said what she heard next caught her completely off guard. She said she was shocked and immediately just started laughing. She had to double check because she couldn't believe the card still had $20 on it after sitting unused for that long. She said, I don't know what's more surprising, that a gift card from 2008 still worked, or that at some point I must have spent $5 of it and held on to the rest of for 20 years. I just thought that's
great.
Kind of crazy. I know I have some in the drawer that I need to double check.
But I don't know how balance sheets work for companies, but
it's got to be a nightmare.
I mean, $20 hanging out there for 15 years. You know, are they the accountants at this company? They clock it in, turning on that green lamp. They all have that green lamp.
Oh,
up.
you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, let's see if Cindy ever spent this money. Nope.
Or
still hasn't spent it.
Do they take the money in and they don't worry about the products going out?
You have to, though. You'd have to at some point expect the piper to come.
But I don't know that you would put it in a direct correlation. So you got a $25 gift card at a restaurant and you go spend $22. I don't think, okay, this goes into that column. We're still $3 short. You know what I mean? I think it's just they bought a steak or they bought a hamburger or they bought a blouse at Target or whatever. I don't think they balance
maybe
it.
you just keep going.
I don't think they balance it.
Huh. I'd be interested to figure out how that all works.
Well, let's get a guest.
Well, maybe I will. An accountant?
Well, no, get
I think you have to be like maybe a restaurateur that knows how the gift cards and
Do you think restaurants are the biggest gift card?
I don't know.
Places.
I would say that's where I go to the most, probably.
Yeah, or Target.
The reason I don't think so is because they've already got the money, and so they've got the food. It just
every year they say, "Oh, a record year," and they shake each other's hands, and what a profit! And then the next year, all the gift cards get turned in, and we're in the red. We got to fire a bunch of people. So I don't know how how it works.
When have they ever said the gift cards got turned in and they fired people?
No, I'm just saying that if you take all the
I
money
wouldn't want to
in,
work for him. When you start one of your
I was going to say, here we go again. Let's not let you be the
take
business
all the
guy.
money in.
You're just talking in circles right now.
We just made a bunch of money, but then at some point that money comes due when they swipe the card and the product flies off the shelf.
But it's already been paid for.
Yeah, I don't. Here's a different kind of
I don't know either,
surprise.
honestly, I'm just arguing to argue.
I think we need to talk to somebody who deals in the gift
You mean
cards.
somebody who has actual knowledge?
Yes, instead of guessing about what it takes. But get this.
I don't know how that's going to work.
A New Mexico zoo got a different kind of surprise last Sunday morning. Alice the elephant was just strolling along the paths, eating the vegetation. The elephant somehow got out of her habitat before the zoo opened. She was safely returned, according to the zoo. An Asian elephant, 52-year-old, by the way, so she knows a thing or two. She was unharmed, returned to her habitat without further incident, but zoo security made the discovery of Alice's escape about 7:30 a.m. last Sunday morning before the zoo opened. Alice had broken through a section of fencing around the perimeter of the elephant habitat. She was the only elephant to leave and just took a little walk. A staff member arrived on site within about 10 minutes and was able to basically just call her back in to her habitat.
Elephants are awesome.
Aren't
really
they?
smart.
Do you just whistle? Come on.
Well, the staff said that they cleared debris from where Alice ate plants and trees while strolling along the path near her habitat. Like just taking a little, maybe she just wanted something fresh for...
Stretch her legs a little bit.
Yeah, breakfast.
What if you don't notice until an hour after the zoo opened?
Well, that'd be a little more dangerous. They did say the area where she escaped will remain closed while the fence is repaired, so... Not taking any chances there. All right, hopefully there's no surprises on the roads. Everything is moving smoothly. Let's go to Sobey Bay in the KTRS Traffic Center.
Hey, Heidi. 70 West still slow from 170 to the airport from an earlier accident. 170 south, stop and go, Forest Park to 64. 64 east, slow McKnight to Hanley. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
Probably thinks he's late to the set with that music playing. He is the host of On Balance with Leland, Vittert, and News Nation's chief Washington anchor. But Leland is also a St. Louisan and author of Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be back in St. Louis, if only virtually.
Yeah, absolutely. When you hear that music, do you feel like you need to be running towards the set?
I try not to run.
Okay.
But, it does get the heart rate still going.
Yeah. Now, typically, we would start with that dreadful high school question since you grew up here. But high school wasn't an easy time for you.
No, it was not. I went to John Burroughs High School, and seventh grade was my first year there, as it is for most kids. And I think it was 2 weeks in to school. I'd been at 3 or 4 other schools before that. None of them really worked out. My parents were hoping this was a fresh start. So the principal there, the 7th and 8th grade principal, called my parents in, and they thought they were just showing up for a little check-in. And the principal says to my parents, who are sitting there in the little room with the desk and computer or whatever, looks at my parents and says, everybody at this school thinks your kid is really weird. So arrow number 1 through my parents' heart, and then followed it up and said, and frankly, I do too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Arrow number 2 through my parents' heart. And that meant, for the next 6 years, every bad thing that happened to me was my fault because I was the weird kid. Oh. I had at the time been diagnosed with what we now know to be autism, and my parents didn't tell her. They just sort of said thank you and laughed, which is part and parcel to sort of how my parents decided to deal with things as I was growing up, which is that my dad, starting when I was about 5 or 6 years old, took it upon himself to adapt me to the world rather than the world to me. And that is the story of Born Lucky, the book that came out. And now I think just because of Autism Awareness Day, that finding new life with parents who are looking for that message of hope.
Yeah.
And it's not just hope for parents of kids with autism, but of kids with ADHD, anxiety, having a hard time, whatever it is.
So when were you diagnosed?
So a couple of times when I was 4, 5, and 6, there were signs that there was something that was significant. When I was 8, they took me out to one of those medical office buildings. We've all been there, right? I think it was out by St. John's. And the woman takes me, and my parents are sitting in that old linoleum floor covered waiting room with the uncomfortable furniture and the old magazines and stale coffee. We've all been there. Mm-hmm. And brings me back a couple hours later, and she says, look, your son's got a lot of real issues. He's got big behavioral issues. If somebody looks at him a way he doesn't like or pushes him in line, he's going to turn around and slug him. And I was a fat little kid, so I could make a difference there if I slug somebody. He's got big sensory issues. If he wears socks he doesn't like or a jacket or whatever, he melts down. And he's got huge learning issues, right? He's got a big spread. So an IQ test is the halves of 2 tests merged together and averaged. A 20-point spread is a learning disability. I had a 70-point spread. She said it was the biggest spread they had ever seen. And my dad, as any parent would, says, well, what do we do? And she said, well, there's not much you can do. You just kind of have to meet him where he's at. And where I was at was a disaster. So it was my parents' mission, my dad's mission then. He said, okay, and headed out to try and adapt me to the world.
And so do you still struggle with these things? Because you have made it to the top of your field. Network news.
Well, you're nice to say that. And in the book, in Born Lucky, I compare autism to a little bit like being an alcoholic, right? You're going to always have to struggle and fight and work hard every day to adapt. So about 7 or 8 months ago, before the book came out, I was playing golf with my now father-in-law out in Idaho. We just finished up a round of golf, and anybody who's a golfer knows that about the most frustrating thing in golf is trying to stick your golf clubs into a golf travel bag. So I'm trying to do that in the parking lot, and we're running late. And this man who we had played golf with in our foursome came over to say hello to me. And my father-in-law was in the clubhouse. So I'm down on the ground trying to do this, and I could hear him say, hey, Lucky, hey, Ed, standing over me. And one of the classic signs of autism is that you become very task focused. And I was really focused on putting my clubs in the travel bag and not getting distracted. I go, don't even look up at the guy. And I could hear the voice of my father saying to me, Lucky, you need to stand up, stop with the travel bag, stand up, look Mr. McGillicuddy in the eye, shake his hand, tell him how nice it was to see him. Like all these very basic social cues that come so naturally to anybody else and that I've had to work on since I was 8 years old. And I just could not break out of that need to get the travel bag and golf clubs situated. So the guy walks off, and I had just been so phenomenally rude to him. I found his phone number, and I texted him a note just saying I want to apologize for being so rude to you and not saying goodbye and on and on. What I didn't follow up with was, and by the way, I have autism.
Right.
And that was really a nod to my father, who struggled so hard so that not only would I not be defined by that label, he didn't want me to be defined by it, but he didn't want me to use it as an excuse or to define myself by it. And I think that's a really important part of the Born Lucky message, is that you are not a victim. And obviously the way my father dealt with things in terms of telling people may not be what everybody chooses to do, but the idea that you never use it as an excuse, I think is one that, again, transcends no matter what difficulties kids or adults are dealing with.
Yeah, you mentioned April is Autism Awareness Month, and there's so much that the average person needs to learn. But kind of with this story that you're telling, are people surprised you have autism? Because it's a very high functioning. There's this big spectrum that we talk about all the time.
There is a huge spectrum. And one thing is for sure, that Born Lucky is not a cure. It's not a prescription. It is just my story. But I think what the book does show is the power of parents, the mountain moving power, to quote George Will, of parents and what they can do. And you think about how autism is a spectrum. I've heard now from hundreds, if not thousands, of families, again, not only from autism, but all sorts of other things of kids having a hard time, that this book gives them hope, and it tells them they are not alone. But the ... to that is, I heard from a family of a child who has profound autism, so nonverbal, lives in a group home. He's about 20 years old and was having real difficulties. He was having huge difficulties with physical problems, his health, big emotional problems, and big outbursts, and on and on and on. And the one thing that his father noticed is when the group home sent home the reports, their son was really happy 3 days a week when he went to the pool. And so he would go to the pool and he would be really happy, and then he would come back and have all these problems. So the father said, if my son's happy in the pool, why don't we teach him to swim? The group home came back and said, no, can't teach a 20-year-old to swim. He's going to get scared. He's going to, maybe drown in the deep water or have troubles. And, then he's going to be really scared all the time, and it's just not going to work. The father said, I think my son has more potential than that. He now swims 1.5 miles every morning.
Wow.
So physically, he's changed and is much healthier. Emotionally, he's totally a different kid. He gets up every morning happy and puts on his swimsuit. All of these things that just because a parent said, I'm not going to accept the status quo. I'm not going to just meet him where he's at in the shallow end of the pool. I'm going to teach him to swim. And that really is so much of what my father did for me.
And Leland, you just told us a story about socially how you have run-ins where it gets the best of you. But what about professionally? What about in the workplace? I mean, like I said, you have made it to the pinnacle of a career that any one of us would, step over our grandmothers for. But have you ever had any issues when it came to the workplace?
I think it's a great point. Certainly in Born Lucky, there's a number of moments as I got older that some of the same issues that I had in middle school, right, came into the newsroom. You know, my dad, after every night at school, when I would come home from Burroughs or Community or whatever it was, you know, I'd walk in crying, emotionally distraught. My dad made a point to be there every night when I got home, and he would spend a couple of hours putting me back together, right? And he would always say to me that middle school is not real life, and the characteristics and qualities and things that make you bullied and isolated now are going to make you successful later in life. What he didn't say is that it is about the best possible training you can get for a Washington newsroom.
Yeah. And you write about that. You write about how those hard times in middle school and high school helped you through those tough times at Fox News where you were pushed out, and your dad kind of said to you, you've made it through middle school, you can do this.
Well, Heidi, congratulations. You passed the reading test that I never passed when I was in English class.
Yeah.
So thank you for reading the book. And therefore all of your listeners can think of Born Lucky as having actually a real endorsement. So I appreciate that. Yeah, look, you know, I think about in 8th grade at Burroughs, I was in art class, and the teacher didn't think that I was all that good of an artist. Maybe I was going to become Picasso. So in front of the whole class, you know, we're all sitting there at the end of class with our drawings in front of us. And he says, you know, Vittert, if my dog was as ugly as you, I would shave its bleep and make it walk backwards. The whole class laughs and everything else. So you understand that if the teachers are doing that, what the kids feel empowered to do. Fine. So,
wow.
Fast forward now, 25 years, I've been asked to leave Fox News. Or invited to leave Fox News. I had almost died of COVID. I didn't have a relationship. My girlfriend and I had broken up all in about a month. And I got out of the hospital. I went down to my parents' house in Florida, just lay in the guest bedroom and kind of convalesce. And one night I was feeling particularly sorry for myself. And my dad looks at me and says, you feeling pretty bad for yourself? I said, yeah, I am actually. And he says, all right. He says, I understand. He says, however, he said, after that teacher compared you disfavorably to his dog's rear end, you got up the next day and went back to school. And you did hard things. You know how to do hard things. You can do this now, which was now to come to News Nation, to help start News Nation, to grow the network, on and on. And I tell that story because I think the greatest gift any parent can give their child is resilience. And that's really what my parents taught me and my dad taught me, was that ability to do hard things. And so often now it's in vogue for parents to want to take hardship away from their kids because life is hard enough. And it's so much harder for parents to actually hold their kids' hand through the adversity, right? To walk that walk together rather than just take the adversity away, because it's harder on the parent too.
Of course.
And that's certainly what my dad did, was hold my hand through the adversity. And that is part of the Born Lucky story, is a father who is willing to embrace that difficulty and that hardship together.
Leland, you talk about your dad. He sounds wonderful. I'm curious, what did he do for a living?
So Dad obviously was in St. Louis. He had started the St. Louis Business Journals, was involved in IBC Root Beer and a number of other things. And in the late 80s, early 90s, he was also on Donnybrook. He was one of the founders of that. He took a step back from business. And obviously we were in the position that he was able to do that because he said, you know, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I did know that me being there was your only hope. And he was right about that. I asked him later as we started working on the book, because, you know, we never talked about this. He never talked to me about my diagnosis, why he was doing what he was doing, nothing. He was just always there. And as we started working on the book, I said to him, you know, what would you have done if you couldn't have quit your job? And he said, I would have worked the night shift. Because I realized that the only chance you had was for me to be there in the morning and at night. And he writes the afterword to Born Lucky, which I think is the best part of the book. And so it's short, very, very short, only 4 pages. You know, but in it, he says, you are the depository of your child's hurt, their frustrations, and their humiliations. You must listen and listen, morning before school and late into the night. And that was what he did first and foremost.
He has to be so proud of you now.
Well, his mission was to adapt me to the world. My wife will tell you that's still very much a work in progress.
As all wives will. Well,
yeah.
This has been
but
enjoyable.
I think he's really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been great being with you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. You can watch On Balance with Leland Vittert weeknights at 8 on News Nation. Born Lucky, A Dedicated Father, A Grateful Son, and My Journey with Autism can be purchased wherever you buy your books. And it really is a love story to your father. Leland, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Great story about Michael Baldi and Baldi Electric. One of the wives called up and said, hey, we need an electrician. Call Michael Baldi. And the husband said, no, I can do it. Well, the wife overrode the husband, called up Michael Baldi at 314-968-9999. Maybe she checked the website first, baldielectric.com. So Michael Baldi came out to the house. While he was at the house, the husband says, well, since you're here, I've got 3 or 4 other jobs for you. It turned out to be an all-day affair. They took care of everything. And so, no, the husband couldn't get it done. Good thing the wife called Baldi Electric, and now the whole house is fixed because of one simple phone call to Michael Baldi and Baldi Electric. Indoor, outdoor, brand new commercial building, an old Victorian home, it doesn't matter. Michael Baldi and his team of electricians will take care of you. 314-968-9999, Baldi Electric, or baldielectric.com.
Invest in your future today at Royal Banks of Missouri. With a variety of personal savings, money market, and certificate of deposit account options, their team will guide you to reach your short and long-term financial goals. They also offer individual retirement accounts to help you plan for your life's next chapter. Call 314-212-1500 or visit a branch to find the right account for you and watch your savings grow. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's do a couple of entertainment stories. A judge has thrown out Blake Lively's sexual harassment claims against Justin Baldoni, gutting her headline-grabbing lawsuit that followed the release of the domestic violence film It Ends With Us. The judge threw out 10 of the 13 claims in Lively's lawsuit, including claims of harassment, defamation, conspiracy. He did allow 3 claims to proceed, including claims of breach of contract, retaliation, and aiding and abetting in retaliation. So it seems like that's about a done deal. A lot of people saying that this could ruin her career and see if she ever acts again. So
it just, none of it ever made any sense to me.
It absolutely did not.
And without knowing all the facts and being in court and all those things, it didn't seem like either party really handled it very well.
No. It seemed like something that maybe you could have handled behind closed doors. But Haley Steinfeld and Bills quarterback Josh Allen, welcome to Baby Girl and Happier
Isn't that
News.
Sweet? That's great.
Elijah Wood says he's frequently mistaken for Tobey Maguire, and I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep just found out she is 6th cousins with Anna Wintour, the inspiration of her character in The Devil Wears Prada.
I saw that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but how far away is 6 cousins?
I mean,
pretty far.
It's pretty far, but still.
Yeah.
Relation. Savannah Guthrie will return to her chair on the Today Show Monday morning. She's been off the air since her mom was abducted February 1st. How she will specifically handle her moment cannot yet be known, but those who know her told The Hollywood Reporter it will definitely be done with uncommon levels of grace and professionalism.
Which are the best. That's tough.
Yeah. As far as TV tonight, the women's Final Four takes the court on ESPN. First up, you've got UConn versus South Carolina. Then it's Texas and UCLA. The championship game is Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Then tomorrow on TBS, it's the men's Final Four. Again, you got UConn versus Illinois. That's at about 5:10. And then you got Michigan versus Arizona following that at 7:49. Jack Black hosts Saturday Night Live, and Jack White is the musical guest. You think that they did that on purpose?
Yeah, that's a rerun.
No, it isn't.
This is a new one.
New one.
It already aired.
No, it did not.
Are we sure about this?
Positive.
I'm pretty sure.
It was on the Today Show today.
I saw the promo. Yeah, I saw it too.
They might have done a show years ago, but not.
Because they were talking about how this is his fifth
and he's going to get his jacket.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
What was I watching?
Well, you watched one of the other previous 4.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know what you've been watching or listening to all day today, basically.
What was I watching?
Can we do some birthdays?
Yeah, let's do. I'm going to go till you stop me. One of my all-time favorites. I love his early movies that were so great. Eddie Murphy. It's his birthday today.
Oh.
Remember his first film? Anyone?
Eddie Murphy's first film.
Yeah.
I don't.
Was it Trading Places?
No, before that, Nick Nolte. 48 Hours.
48
It's a
Hours.
great movie.
Really?
It's a great. You haven't seen it, have you? It's really terrific.
I'm going to say he's 69.
No, 64.
65, you got that one. Niles Crane on Frasier, David Hyde Pierce, who owned that role.
Yes,
he was
he
so
did.
good.
All right, I'm going to say 67.
What was his wife's name? They never showed her. Maris.
One of what did you say, Heidi? How old?
67.
Bang, got it.
Yes.
One of my all-time favorite actors, and he's an unbelievable talk show guest, but not a good talk show host, Alec Baldwin.
Oh.
I remember that show.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right.
Alec Baldwin.
He's a better guest than host.
I think he's 66 as well.
He's an unbelievable
I'm
storyteller.
going to say he's 68.
Bang, got it. Oh, Heidi's on a roll.
Mhm.
All right, 2 more quickies.
Okay.
Just see if the roll can keep going. Tony Orlando, Without Dawn.
Oh, my gosh. 74.
78.
82. And finally, Mr. Vegas, Wayne Newton.
Oh, Wayne Newton, 90.
94.
84.
Dang. Tony Orlando was on Show Me St. Louis and actually sang with Kelly Jackson.
way.
It was so funny.
That's great.
Yeah, I've got video of it somewhere, but he was so fantastic.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm trying to think of what they were singing, and then he continued to sing and basically said off key to her.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hey, remember when he showed up and there was all those yellow ribbons all over the trees?
No.
Tony Orlando? Tie a yellow ribbon?
I got that.
Right?
Are you? It's time for you
At
to
the
go
end
home.
of the song? Hey, do you know the song? Tie a yellow
Yes.
ribbon?
But what's that? Where
When he
did
showed up,
show
what?
Up? Where?
When he came home from jail and he said, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree.
When was he in jail?
And then he come. Have you guys ever heard the song?
Yes,
Yeah.
but are you talking about when you're talking about like the
song?
Yes. Are you?
It's a great song.
I
It's
know,
one
but
of those story songs.
what
It's
was
an
your
okay song.
point?
It's that it was a great song.
But you're saying, remember
There's
when he
the-
came home?
It's like the
Oh,
punchline
I
at the
thought
end
you
of the
meant when
song.
physically Tony
No.
Orlando came. Didn't
you know
that what
what?
you thought?
Yeah, I didn't. Honestly, I'm not sure what he's been
You
saying
know what?
most of the day.
I'm done for the weekend.
Yeah, me too. Let's see what traffic's going to look like. Sobe Bay, what are you seeing on these roads?
Hey, Heidi. Traffic is dense approaching West Downtown as crowds make their way in for the WWE Friday Night SmackDown, which starts at 6:30 at the Enterprise Center. 70 West still slow from 170 to the airport from an earlier accident, and 170 South stop and go Forest Park to 64. 64 East slow McKnight to Hanley. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Sobe Bay on the Big 550 KTRS.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation for foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing. Choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack. Solid as rock.
If it's time to replace your windows and doors, choose Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis. Pella's trusted local experts work in your area and within your budget, backed by the most preferred window and door brand by homeowners. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Study of homeowner perceptions of leading national brands. Study commissioned by Pella 2023.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Okay, to be clear, the song Tie a Yellow Ribbon is from the point of view of someone who has done his time in prison and he's returning home on a bus and is uncertain whether his girlfriend will welcome him back.
He wrote a note in prison saying, hey, if you still love me and want to be with me, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree.
Yes.
And then when the car pulls up, there's like 1 million yellow ribbons on all of the trees.
And I think where this gets a little more confusing, the original idea of a yellow ribbon was a remembrance that in the 19th century practice that some women allegedly had wearing a yellow ribbon in their hair to signify their devotion to a husband or sweetheart serving in war. So there's a couple of different things
and the yellow
here.
ribbon is still on the back bumpers of cars for service members as well.
Yes.
But Tony Orlando was in jail.
No, he wasn't.
Not Tony. The song.
He did that on purpose.
Somebody told me to stop being so snarky. I said, "You thought that made sense? Is that your mom?"
You try working with him.
I almost typed that, and I didn't because I'm trying to be nice. Do we have time for a random, or we just need to get out? We need to get out of here.
Presents. That was easy.
I opened a restaurant. What is?
Go ahead.
Do you want to take
It's
blame
over.
for that? It's over. You
Go
guys,
home.
thank you for hanging out with us and putting up with us. Hopefully, you have a fantastic weekend, a happy Easter with family and friends, and hopefully you'll meet us back here Monday at 3 o'clock. Until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com. Heard a great story about the window store the other day. Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store, 314-739-0002 or wswindow.net, told me a story. He had a customer call him up and say that he wanted to replace his white vinyl windows with darker windows. And so, of course, Larry took care of him. So now they're all darker and sort of brown in color. Looks beautiful. They're energy efficient. There was no upselling. They're great quality windows, and Larry Thornton and the window store took care of him. That's what he does. The price is extremely reasonable, better than the national companies because there aren't the layers of middle management. The window store has been around for 38 plus years. Proud sponsor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Windows, and don't forget about doors. Doors can get really expensive real fast. That's why you want to go with a company you can trust. Installation, price, selection, quality. The window store. Window store. wswindow.net. 314-739-0002.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. U.S. officials confirm 1 crew member has been rescued after a U.S. fighter jet was shot down by Iran. But the status of the 2nd crew member is still unknown. A search is underway. A top Iranian official trolling the U.S. on X.
Iran's parliamentary speaker taunting the U.S., saying that after defeating Iran 37 times in a row, this brilliant no-strategy war that started has now been downgraded from regime change to, hey, can anyone find our pilots, please? Wow, what incredible progress, absolute geniuses. So certainly, you know, this is playing into Iran's hand.
ABC's Britt Clennett, a U.S. official, also says an American attack A-10 Warthog aircraft that was involved in the rescue of the fighter pilots was hit by incoming fire over Iran and crashed in Kuwait. The pilot was rescued. 2 Black Hawk helicopters involved in the search and rescue were also struck by incoming fire. Some of the crew injured, but they were able to make it back to base. A senior White House official says the president's national security team is gathered at the White House.
We are still waiting to hear directly from the president about this situation. What we do know from the White House is that President Trump has been briefed, but no official on the record statement from the president himself.
ABC's Selena Wang. The U.S. reporting a much better than expected jobs report for March.
Looking at manufacturing jobs are added, healthcare added, in part because workers who were on strike went back on the job, but a big boost there. We also saw gains in the hospitality sector. This is a good news when you're thinking about the fact that we had been really seeing that job growth and that hiring stalling.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. The Artemis II crew speeding to the moon, downlinking their first photos of Earth, including one of the entire planet. NASA's Lakeisha Hawkins.
The mission continues to perform well overall, and the crew is in great spirits.
The Integrity capsule should reach the moon's orbit by Monday. You're listening to ABC News.
Wow. It's our Illinois Fighting Illini Final Four preview show on the Big 550 KTRS. It's presented by Royal Banks of Missouri. Eli Hoff joins me now, our Mizzou insider. Yes, we're getting you ready for the Final Four tomorrow, but we've got some things that we can tie Mizzou and Illinois in, and then, as we are wont to do, we have broken down this tournament. I tell you, if we go back and look at our old KTRS bracket from the start that we put together either that Tuesday or Wednesday before the tournament, we had, let's see here, well, not great, but we did have Michigan and Illinois in the Final Four. Of course, Eli with some very good upset picks along the way. I think we held our own, Eli, when it was all said and done.
Yeah, I think we did, and we did have Duke missing the Final Four as well,
did.
right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I give us some points for that. I think our Illinois pick was great. We were high on the Illini, and they've proved us correct. Now I'll admit I was completely wrong going into this tournament. I thought Arizona was a very vulnerable team, and that has not been the case. So hands up on that one. I was wrong there, but I think overall, I'll say we're shooting about 50%.
Yeah,
you got to take that. So.
I think so too. Yeah, we were. That was our biggest miss, and we were equally off of. And my reasonings, going back to the middle of the season where I said I didn't buy into Tommy Lloyd, and his previous tournament experience kept him sort of stationed in the Sweet 16 and nothing further. He has proven me wrong on that point, for sure. But yes, we were right on both Duke and Florida. We said emphatically Florida would not reach the Final Four, but you had them losing to Iowa. You were right on the money.
Yeah, that one that goes down as one of my better
frame that one
of all time. Yeah, so I'm happy with that to be right there, and Iowa was fun, and I think we were also just very generally right with our bracket and thinking that this would be a good tournament for the Big Ten. Maybe not as good as we thought because we had Michigan State in the Final Four, but it's been a very good Big Ten tournament. Obviously, 2 Big Ten teams here in the Final Four. We were right on that element of it, which I think is an interesting trend and worth something.
Yeah, I think for a league that, much like football, feels very top-heavy at times, the elite teams, those top-heavy teams fronting that conference, Eli, the Michigans, the Purdues, obviously Illinois, Michigan State, they all really represented well. Obviously Iowa. And I think as long as Ben McCollum is at Iowa, and as long as he's sort of lurking, like he is, if you're a 1 seed and you get stuck having to play a Ben McCollum team where Florida, I mean, it was a terrible draw. I don't know. Ultimately, would we have still been right on Florida getting bounced early if they had a different draw other than Iowa? Maybe not. But that was terrible for. I mean, Todd Golden, he learned again, at least to a certain extent, what Dennis Gates learned last year going up against Ben McCollum and Drake. That is, it's not a friendly matchup. And even if you're I think Florida was superior athletically. I think they were superior talent-wise. But what Iowa wants to do to you and the way they want to slow things down, and oh, by the way, they also have a young man named Bennett Sturts, at least they did. That was a really tough draw.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I'm not sure if you look at any other of the teams in either the 8 or 9 seed spots, I'm not sure if any of those teams would have been capable of beating Florida. Again, the Gators were vulnerable, but it's just the way that Iowa imposes their style. And the reason I picked that game going in, it was that Florida had struggled in those slow games. To me, that felt like it was just one of those matchups where you have a 1 seed that is vulnerable to a certain style playing a lower seeded team that plays that style to the extreme. That's where you just kind of get that nightmare matchup for a team like Florida.
Well, I want to dig into the matchups in particular tomorrow. We'll do that coming up, and we can look ahead to what we think for Monday night. We'll do that on the way. But there is some interesting news today that surrounds Illinois and Mizzou all at the same time. Quentin Coleman, young man from Principia here in the St. Louis area, viewed to be a consensus top 20, top 30 prospect in the country, had committed to Wake Forest and their coach Steve Forbes. He had decommitted here within the last couple of weeks, putting himself back on the market, and there was some, I think, quiet confidence from some people I talked to, and I'm sure you as well, Eli, spoke with, that thought Coleman to Mizzou made a lot of sense. But you know what? The Fighting Illini, they're on a bit of a heater right now, not only going to the Final Four, but what a recruiting steal by Brad Underwood to swoop in and scoop up Quentin Coleman, who announced today he is committing to the Illini. And if you didn't look right away, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I got to be honest, when I saw the post, I'm thinking to myself, did Keaton Wagler announce he was coming back to Illinois? Quentin Coleman bears a striking resemblance to Keaton Wagler, but no, it is Quentin Coleman. He is committed to the Illini, and his game might match up pretty well with what Keaton Wagler's been able to do.
Yeah, it honestly might. Coleman's a really interesting basketball recruit because he's someone where basketball recruiting for these colleges starts when these players are really, really young, where they start playing AAU ball, and you'll have coaches who are making contact and building relationships from when they're in 9th or 10th grade or even middle school, that these are often really long-standing relationships. And Coleman's somebody who was good before, but he really burst onto the scene his senior year. That he'd been committed to Wake Forest, which he felt was the right opportunity for him. And then as the season went, his stock went up, and he ultimately was released from his letter of intent there because he knew he could play for a better program. I think back to I watched Principia play at the Norm Stewart Classic here in Columbia. They played Jason Crow's Inglewood team. And I mean, Principia looked like, not that I watch a ton of preps basketball, but they were as good of a high school basketball team as I've ever seen, like just insanely talented. And Coleman was the best player on the floor, to the point where even after the game, a group of us writers were there because we were covering Mizzou and all the Mizzou signees who were there. And we were waiting to talk to Jason Crow Jr. After the game, and somebody from the Principia program came by and kind of jokingly yelled at us, "You're waiting for the wrong guy," as if we should be talking to Quentin Coleman. And I mean, the way the rest of the season went, his recruiting profile changed. Who's to blame him? Mizzou definitely was involved. Mizzou was certainly interested here and was involved here. If this Illinois visit had not happened when it did, or gone as well as it did, Mizzou was in position to get Coleman's next visit. That would have been around this time next week, once the recruiting dead period opens back up, so players can go on campus. But obviously, he likes what he heard from Illinois. It's hard to blame him when you're looking at one program that's in a Final Four and is developing all these players for the NBA and producing all of that. You certainly don't blame him for picking Illinois here. Mizzou was interested, I think, was competitive with their offer, but Mizzou was also late to the process. And so, this is a kid where if Mizzou had known what was coming, which nobody really did, a year ago, maybe this goes differently, but it is Illinois' gain and Mizzou's loss here with Quentin Coleman.
Would he have fit in with Crow, you think, Eli?
On the court, yes. Off the court, I think there would have been some things to work through with just how that Inglewood and Principia game went. It was a pretty testy game, I think we could say.
Interesting.
Now, I think that's nothing that Dennis Gates couldn't smooth over. That's something that NIL money couldn't smooth over. So that probably would have been the starting backcourt. Coleman is kind of the one. Jason Crow Jr. is kind of the two. Would have been the fit there. Certainly they would have been making enough money to be the starters there. So the fit would have been fine. They're both going to be at, I might get the name wrong, but it's like the Jordan Brand Classic. That's one of these kind of postseason all-star showcases for high school players. I want to say it's in Philadelphia in a couple weeks, but I might be wrong. I think Coleman and Crow are going to be teammates out there. So they would have been able to play together, certainly stylistically.
We haven't had a chance to talk, Eli, since Crow's performance at the McDonald's All-American game. So even with some mild disappointment today about Coleman going to Illinois, well, disappointment for Mizzou fans, elation for Illini fans, even with that sentiment, I think Mizzou fans still flying high with what they saw from Jason Crow at the McDonald's All-American game in the three-point contest. We can argue, and there were times where he was viewed as the top prospect in the entire draft in this class. He might have been the best player on the floor at this game.
Yeah, I mean, he won co-MVP. Why do we do co-MVPs? He was one of two players who split MVP honors. So he was one of the two best players on the floor. I think I would argue the best player on the floor, and
right.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of pushback there. Great showing for him scoring the ball. Some really good playmaking, actually, which I don't want to put too much stock in one game, but it's making me reconsider whether he could be a point guard at the next level. That's still something that this offseason in this portal window is going to iron out for Mizzou. Also really impressed with Tony Bryant, the power forward who's the other signee. He's someone who I've been getting mixed messages on how ready he's going to be from day one to start and contribute. Like he'll be part of the rotation and should be pretty good this year, but is he going to be someone who really needs a year to get his feet wet, and then year two he's at a top two level? I felt, now this was against other high school seniors, but it gave me more confidence watching him in this game that he can come in there and be ready day one for a role. So even though both players were really highly rated, this whole class for Mizzou has been really highly rated, I think the stock has still gone up from the McDonald's All-American game. So,
I don't know if you'd feel the same way, Eli. My feelings aren't hurt if Bryant isn't a guy that's sort of a building block, a foundation piece that you hope is in your program for multiple years. I mean, I don't want to say 4, but let's say split the difference here and say 3, and isn't one of these guys that can jump to the pros very quickly, while Crow Jr. might very well be one of those guys that is here and gone 1 year and out, and that regardless of how long Bryant is there, the fact that you have to assume the window with Crow is going to be small. It makes this upcoming portal season for Dennis Gates, as we've talked about, so important. But it's the urgency to really, I mean, I think, Eli, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this is the first time where you need to, everything you do over these next few weeks has to be with the intent of making 2027 the best it can possibly be. And if that means getting more grad guys, seniors, guys that will only also be here just 1 year, you may have to swallow that pill. Because I think normally, with the situation Mizzou finds itself in most years, and I want to say Dennis Gates has talked about this. You want to be able to find guys that can help you for multiple years, and if you can, that's great. But the priority has to be 2027.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where this is such an interesting off season, because Mizzou does like to sign a lot of guys who can be 2-year transfers. So you think Mark Mitchell, Tamar Bates, Caleb Grill, even though Caleb Grill wasn't really supposed to be a 2-year when he signed. Players like that who can give you multiple years of service. That's what these coaches like, and I think we've seen that be a pretty prudent, pretty good strategy for programs like Missouri. That's not really a luxury the program has this offseason, because Jason Crow is very widely expected to be a one and done at Mizzou. Now, most likely situation is that's 1 year and then off to the NBA. If for some reason he is not headed to the NBA a year from now, that would probably imply that something went wrong. You're probably looking for a different college program. So you're only expecting 1 year of Jason Crow. You need to maximize that for a couple of reasons. One, he should be good. So when you have a player of that caliber, you need to go out and try to contend and win games and make it farther into the tournament than just the first round. But you also need to have pieces around him for the off-the-court kind of publicity, marketing, all of that reason. You know, as you saw from the McDonald's All-American game this week, Jason Crow is a high-profile guy. There are people who watch college basketball just from an NBA draft kind of angle, where they're more likely to watch a team play if they know, oh, hey, that guy's going to be an NBA draft lottery pick a year from now, right? It's probably going to mean more national TV marquee-type games as Dennis Gates will schedule them. So you need to have a competitive, high-end, talented roster for that reason as well. You don't want it to be Jason Crow Jr. trying to put 4 other guys on his back. That's what he did at Inglewood in high school, and you can't win that many games that way, even with him averaging 40-some points out there. So you got to give him other pieces to make this year really count.
That's Eli Hoffart, Mizzou Insider, as we're getting you ready for the Final Four this weekend on the Big 550 KTRS. Our pregame coverage for Illinois and Connecticut tomorrow.